Better than me. Damn. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. As you guys know, this is a basketball watch stand account, and I know we have been missing in action, but we are back, baby. Okay, and we have got to get into this episode, season 12, episode 6 of Basketball Watch. This was a lot going on. I'm so happy to have Cindy in the back, getting ready to come up here with me. So let's go ahead and take a visit of this channel really quick, and we can get into it. If you want to join the nation, go ahead and turn on your notifications. Turn them on all so you get notified every time I go live or post a new video. Like the video, share the video, comment down below. Please comment down below. And if you're here at the live, come over here in this chat and comment over here. We don't bite and we don't fight, okay? Also, subscribe to the channel, y'all, and tell a friend and tell a friend, okay? Let's play this intro. Let's get into it. Let's go.
I'm fly, yes, I'm high, yes. Everyone that get to this guy, yes. Go out tonight, I just might, yes. Style cleaner than yours, so don't buy, yes. I'm so debonair, so debonair. I'm so debonair, so debonair. I'm so debonair, so debonair. I'm so debonair, so debonair.
Cindy!
Hey, we're back. we are back.
I have missed you in these Basketball Wives reviews.
I know, me too. I know. I mean, it's not like we haven't been watching the show, but yes,
Right.
our reviews are everything, okay?
When I tell you, I was at home typing. And you know what's so crazy is that, you know, I hate taking notes.
Yeah.
But this was like the episode I took the most notes on ever.
I know, it was so much going on, right?
Right.
It's just so much going on. I mean, I didn't really have to take any notes because I remember everything clearly. So any any bullets, yeah, like it is just it's been a lot in Vegas.
Yes. You know, we're gonna start this off. Let me say what's up to people in the chat real quick. What's going on to Grown Woman Don't Try Me? My friend of the friend of the friend. I realized the other day when I was doing my video, I think you've been a member for like 42 months or something like that. So thank you so much for being a true what am I to the SoDeb Nation.
Yes.
True. What's up to my sis Barb in the chat? And also Grown Woman says, hey Cindy.
Hey, Grown Woman.
But what's up to Barb and Grown Woman in the chat? As you know, I don't take people the time to get in here because your boy's not really in the algorithm like that. Yet 48 months. I think that's what it said, 48 months. But yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate it because you know I'll be doing a lot, but I have really been picking up on my content lately. So shout out to you guys because you guys really keep me motivated into posting new things. So before we get started, let's go ahead and rate the episode on a scale from 1 to 10. You guys in the chat, what do you think, Cindy? What scale from 1 to 10? What are you giving it?
If it's just based on the mess, I'm gonna give it a 9.
No, a 9. That's high for you.
Yeah, that's high for me. So, because I mean, there was a lot that has been happening in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I'm gonna give it a 10.
10? Are you sure? Even about the Brandi stuff?
I mean, you know, I'm gonna be on the battlefield on this review.
I know you are.
Thank you, Barb, because I really have been. But yes, because I don't really see what a lot was wrong, but I'm sure you'll let me know.
Yeah, I will. Go ahead though.
Barb said she give it an 8.
An 8, okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, as long as it's high, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're close. We're close with it, right?
Yeah. What would it need for it to be a 10 for you?
Certain people not being there. Okay. Let's just say that. Like in this particular episode, I wish a certain someone wasn't there, but we'll get there.
Okay, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Barb says she won't give it an 8.5. Actually.
Okay.
Okay, so as y'all come in, rate the episode. We can jump into it if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Now we did not get to review the last episode. So we are going to start from this one. Look, she already know who you talking about.
Yeah. No, no, it
Oh,
was.
no, I
It's
forgot
not
it was.
her.
I
It's
forgot his
not
name.
her.
It was her though at first though, too.
No, not for me.
When we were talking about it before, you was like she could not be there.
No, not her. The other one.
I know the other one you're talking about, but I also thought you didn't want her on there either.
I don't mind her. I mean, she's just whatever to me. We've
Okay.
like I said, we've grown up with her, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, okay. I would rather see Shanice on the show, to be honest. But
Really?
yeah, I think especially since I'm watching her and Evelyn's podcast. Um,
Oh, I see.
I think
Yeah,
I'm liking her personality.
I like her personality, but she wouldn't work. She's too quiet. She's too nice. You know what I mean? Like
Gotcha.
I don't see that working. Not for me.
Okay. And okay, girl, mom, she said she hasn't watched it yet. She came to hear the review.
Okay.
All right, so let's get into it. Okay.
Yep.
So it starts off with them. So I guess I mean a little bit of context before this. They went to Jennifer's wedding, and they also went to Evelyn's birthday party. This before this episode. I just want to kind of give some context to what we're about to get into.
Yep.
Um, there was a lot going on with Brandy, Jennifer Brandy. Um,
it
and
it
go
it
ahead.
definitely has been.
And then also there's just been a lot of spice between Chantel, Brandy, and Brittany.
Yes.
And then also with Ming as well, because I guess Ming with this thing with Ty, she's not really feeling Brandy like that. And I feel to me personally, Cindy, and correct me if I'm wrong, or
Mhm.
we can agree to disagree or whatever.
Mhm.
To me, I feel like Ming kicked this whole thing off.
Yeah, she did.
Okay. So Ming kind of kicked it off because of the whole Thai situation.
Yep.
It started off because I guess Brandy was supposed to be cooking tacos or something, and she didn't bring her seasonings, and then Ming brought a seasoning. um,
Right. Like one bottle was supposed to be doing something. Like it just seemed petty and odd, but okay.
yeah, and so they kind of got into this argument about it, and so the girls, Ming, Chantel, and Brittany went to the room and kind of conversated about Brandy. Brandy heard it, and Brandy was Brandy from every other season.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Okay, we're here, right?
We're at the same spot. But again, I mean, do you want me to comment on
No, yeah, 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 yeah.
Brett? Okay, because I was gonna say I felt like, I understand where Brandy was kind of coming from, when she was like listening in, but then it's also like, ma'am, why do you care? You don't even know these women yet. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I feel like for whatever reason, her and Ming have this thing because of Ty.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I know you're going to disagree, but
Okay.
I felt like Brandy should have stood down. Like, it was like her having a conversation with Ty, and Chantel, meaning Ming having a conversation with
Mhm.
Ty and
Oh yeah,
Chantel.
it was Ty Chantel and me, not.
Yeah, and Ming. And so it's kind of like, why are you interjecting? Or even if they're talking about you, so what? It was so stupid. Like, I don't know. I just didn't understand why she would even concern herself with them, but whatever.
I think, to my understanding, the reason why was because they were kind of making fun of her not cooking. Was that what
Yeah,
it
but even if that's the case,
was? Mhm.
like, why is that a conversation where we're at the end of the evening after a long drive to Vegas, yelling and screaming? Like, I just didn't. They in my opinion,
Well, the good
they
thing was
should have. They're allowed to have their feelings about it. Like, I
correct.
just didn't understand why it became a bigger deal.
So now, was this before or after the whole Jennifer conversation come in?
This was during that. It was during that, because they were talking about the Jennifer conversation, and that was another thing that I felt where Brandy went wrong.
About
um
Jennifer to the house?
yeah.
Okay.
And like she said, she was feeling away since she was, getting married. And so she felt generous. But I'm like, but it's not about you. If you're doing a trip for someone's birthday, especially in particular, Evelyn,
Mm.
she's not invited to the house, period. She could have saved herself a whole lot of negativity from the other women, because now they're side-eyeing her and they were judging her. They were being like, if you're supposed to be her friend, why would you invite her enemy?" Basically, it's not like, Evelyn was going to Jen's wedding. So it's like, which one is it? You if you're going to go to the wedding, but also don't invite her to the house. Like, Evelyn wasn't, in my opinion, Evelyn wasn't encroaching on Jen's plans. So why would they keep inviting Jennifer? I mean, I know she's trying to get her check. So I mean, but I'm
Right.
just like, it's just not the time. It just ruined the trip for me
I
as a
just
viewer.
think I think in the grand scheme of things,
Hmm.
this wasn't Jennifer's trip or Brandy's trip. It was a trip that was provided from the network.
Yeah, but it
So,
but it was set up. But it was set up to be that Brandy was saying, "Hey, it's going to be your birthday weekend. We're going to be in Vegas for this wedding. Why don't we all do something in Vegas?"
but
Which is fine, but it's still supposed to be under the guise of celebrating her birthday.
but what she also said, which was true, I mean, they are there for her birthday, but that day was not her birthday.
That's true, but still doesn't matter. You know that's that girl's, at this point, arch nemesis. You know what I mean? Like, her biggest enemy, whether it was the day before or not. That trip was supposed to be, or that house. Let me just say that house, which I thought was weird. It was Asian inspired, whatever. That trip was supposed to be about her birthday. I mean, that house. So
Yes,
don't invite her to the house. That's it.
I'm trying, Brandy.
I'm just saying. I mean, that's just me. Like, I mean, if somebody that I thought was my friend, said, "Hey, Cynthia, let's go to Vegas," right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay. I would never expect to hear, or think of an enemy coming near where I am. Period. Now, if it's accidental, okay.
Okay, I can hear your point of view.
But okay, so I'm just saying that I feel like that's where Brandy went wrong, because they all started looking at her sideways about that, and that's how Chantel and her got into it because of that. So it wasn't even about Ming anymore and about her cooking and not cooking. It was about the girls were talking about, like, why Earth would she invite Jen?
Right,
Period.
right.
So, I mean, and then I just didn't like the way that Brandy was kind of dismissive to Chantel too, when, she had her opinion. That was her thoughts about it.
But I think that Chantel came with a gripe for Brandy. Period. That's my opinion. I ain't gonna. I'm not, and I'm sticking with it.
Okay. Okay. I feel like, where do you get that from though?
I just feel like the conversations really had nothing to do with Chantel at all. To be honest, I think that because I think at the end of that conversation, they were like, we were all mad, and Evelyn was just like chilling. Like, I mean, she wasn't even going off like they were. So I feel like if
That's
Evelyn wasn't
true,
making
but
a big deal out of it, then why were they?
they were aware at that point. I don't think that Evelyn was really aware until towards the end, when her and Jackie were on the couch being like, she was just like, well, Brandy invited Jen, and Evelyn's face just dropped. She looked at her like, what? You know what I mean? I don't think that she was going at it
Well,
with,
Evelyn knew when they knew. Well, no, she knew because
no.
no, she knew. No, yeah, you might be right. You might be right.
Yeah, no, she knew afterwards. Those
Okay.
girls were talking about it because Brandy pulled them to the side and said, "Oh, by the way, I invited Jen." And they were all like, "What?" And that's how they got into that. I don't think that at that point Evelyn knew. When Jackie found out, Jackie's the one that told Evelyn. And she didn't hear it from Brandy. And that's another thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Brandy should have told her that. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
I think that Evelyn would have probably had a bigger reaction if Brandy said, "And I invited Jen." She would probably be like, "What? Why?" I mean, Evelyn wasn't mad at Jackie, so but her face dropped like, "What?"
I just
You
didn't have
know,
to be mad at Brandy, but that's me.
I know, but I'm just saying that Brandy caused all that. Like, she shouldn't have, in my opinion, she should not have invited Jen to the house.
Well,
Period.
I want to travel to the part. Let me get into this episode. I
Okay.
want to travel to the part where they were getting ready for Jennifer's wedding,
Hmm.
and Brandi came out with her dress on.
Right.
Now, I thought there was a lot of spice and hype put up on her going. I mean, because I'm wearing this or whatever she was saying with the hands thing. I didn't think it was like in a like a mean girl or like trying to disrespect her type of way.
Uh-huh.
Did you feel that way?
I I just, I felt like Shawnee is Shawnee.
Hmm.
And she had her opinion. She is, technically a first lady. And she said, I wouldn't have you wearing that at my wedding. And that was Shawnee's opinion. I don't feel like the rest of the women were really tripping about the dress. I only saw Shawnee commenting on it.
But no,
But then Chantel did chime in,
yeah,
but
I think they put a lot of spice on Brandy's dress. I mean, the breast. I mean, she looked great to me, but I'm just like I didn't understand. I mean, I guess so. I don't
I
know.
felt like it was inappropriate. I would never wear. I don't care if they're getting married on the moon. Should she, her putting her hand in Shani's face, being like, "It's Vegas."
Shawnee.
Shawnee's face, being
Yeah.
like, "It's Vegas. It's Vegas." I'm like, "Okay, ma'am," and it's still
I think that's
inappropriate.
something in our age group because I realized that me and Brandy are the same age. I think I said it before,
Okay,
but we're the
but
same age.
would
And
you expect anybody to come to your wedding like that?
if I thought they were the goal was to have a ratchet wedding. That was what
Uh,
that's what the wedding was supposed to be, a ratchet wedding.
not
So in
not
that thing,
Jennifer.
no,
Jennifer
it was.
is.
They were like, because when she remember, Brandy said to her, she was like, "Since you had your classy wedding, let's have the ratchet wedding." And Brandy
Oh, okay.
was like, "Well, I mean," she was like, she kind of shaded it off, but in reality, she had a ratchet wedding.
She did, but I mean, it's still Jennifer, and Jennifer doesn't. Uh, I don't know.
I
I
mean,
feel
Jennifer didn't care about the dress; like she didn't say nothing about it.
I didn't like the dress. I felt like it was inappropriate, but that's just me. That's
Oh,
just me.
all right. I just wanted to get your take on that. What's going
Yeah.
on, Doris?
Hey,
Um,
Norris.
I want to get your take on that because I mean, the spice that happens in this episode, I was kind of like, are we really having a conversation about this? But okay, let's get into that.
Right, right,
So,
right,
the episode starts off with Shawnee feeling like Brandy has a stank attitude. I,
right.
I hate when Shawnee says stank attitude.
You don't want anybody saying anything.
Like she got a stank attitude. Like it's always she's a stank. But
Well, she was, but it was because they were ganging up on her.
yeah, I mean, who's not going to have one? And
Right.
I feel like rewind back to that episode. We going right back. I feel like Brandy went to her room and then had to like, I don't know who she talked to at like before the next day happened because she came back with a different type of like energy.
I think she tried to come with it because I feel like, she started to kind of see, what the ladies were saying. I felt like she felt kind of bad, you
Mhm.
know, but
Okay.
maybe that's me. So she was trying to lighten it up, but they were not having it. they,
Yeah, I was like, maybe Ty went over there and had a personal conversation with her.
I'm sure she would have enjoyed that greatly. As would I.
But okay, so Shanti feels like Brandy has a stank attitude.
Right.
Chantel, I was talking her Ashanti. Chantel agrees. Since they've gotten to Vegas, Brandy's attitude is stank. Jackie wants to address the issues in the group. Brandy tells Chantel to cut it out and stay in a child's place.
Right.
Everyone looks appalled. Like, why would she say that? I was like, I mean, okay. Brandy feels
No, no,
like
no, 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 don't glaze over it. Wait a minute. Wait. You felt like that was okay?
um okay, so hear me out.
Okay.
Brandy, I'm really fighting for you right now. To me, I feel like Brandy's always gonna look at her as a child because she's watched her grow up as a child. So when she says stay in a child's place, maybe it was wrong for her to say, but mentally, I think she feels like she's a child.
But she's not
And
her
even
child.
she's not. But I mean, most people still say this to other people's children. And then even we'll get it when we get into later in the episode. Jennifer almost says the same thing, but she kind of catches herself. So I just think that in her mind, like Shawnee's a child. She's like 30. I think
Chantel,
Chantel is 33 and Brandy's 42.
31. She said she was 31.
When I looked it up on Google, she said she's 33.
Okay.
Maybe she was then. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it could have been a couple of years ago, because when on this episode, she said, I'm 31 at
Yeah.
the table, when they were at the table. But,
So, and that would have made, I mean, Brandy's still 10 years older than her, basically.
it doesn't matter. You don't sit there in front of all of these women, especially her mother, and say stay in a child's place. I felt like that was highly inappropriate. And even though she saw her growing up, she is a wife and a mother herself at this point. It's just as inappropriate to me to when Jackie said about Ev's daughter that
Yes. Yes.
Shawnee's,
I know.
you're a renter, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
A builder.
exactly. Like you don't talk to people in that way. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just
But a
felt like
builder bear and staying in a child's place is two different things.
no, because she was still kind of diminishing her in that way. Like you don't count. Your voice doesn't count. Who are you? Basically, I just didn't like that she did that to her. And I mean, I know she felt bad about it. She got put together, by the group and by Jackie, and by Chantel. But still, I don't care if you saw me grow up, ma'am. I'm still on the show with you at this point, and I'm a wife and a mother too. That's like saying, if you want to put it in Brandy's terms, choosing the worst thing about her or something just to bring her down. I didn't like that she did that. Sorry.
But they still do it though. So
They do. They do.
I mean,
They do.
if it's good for Brandy, then it's gonna be good for Chantel.
No, because the other people weren't talking to Chantel that way.
But I'm just saying they bring up stuff about Brandy, and Brandy have to eat that. And I mean, I feel like if this would have been the LA cast, I don't think it would have been as much flack as Brandy got from them as she got from these people.
I don't know. I feel like the other women were sitting there quietly, and in my opinion, Brandy kept putting her foot in her mouth. Like she just, I would never, let me just say this for me personally. I would never sit there with my friend and her mother in her presence and
Mhm.
talk to her child in that way.
I think that that's true. I probably wouldn't do the same thing either. But then also when we're working the job work type that we're working,
Hmm.
I don't know if that would be the same.
Maybe,
I don't know. I
maybe
mean,
that is the point.
I understand what you're saying though.
Yeah. I couldn't
Like in real
imagine.
life, I would never do that. Yeah.
Never do that. I would never do that. Like if my friend's mom was sitting right there and I'm talking to their
Rick,
child, nah, can't do it. But
yeah.
whatever. She did it.
Rick says, "What's going on, Rick? I haven't seen. I rarely see Rick's. What's going on, Rick?
Hey
He
Rick.
said she was rude as f, but they need the ratings. So,
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. That was super rude. Like you don't diminish her. She's getting her check too. She's trying to get her money as well. Like I don't know. I didn't like it. I felt like it was rude, but whatever.
I feel like it was okay, but we're gonna move on because
Okay, let's move on.
no one's gonna win.
No, no one's gonna win.
So Brandy feels like she planned the trip and she's been catching heat the entire time, especially from Chantel. And now Shawnee has a problem. Chantel feels like she has felt this way all along because about her calling her staying in the child's place because
Hmm.
that's how she feels. And whenever you say stuff out of anger, that's how you really feel.
Right.
Um, I don't feel like it was. I don't feel that was what it was. I just feel like she looked at her as a child because
That's
she's known
no,
her as a
that's what it was. That's what it was because when she reflected on it and the women pointed it out, especially Chantel, she felt bad for doing it. So she meant what she said. I believe what she
But
said.
no. That's right. And Rick said, "Hey, Cindy, um, I get what you're saying. I'm saying
Hmm.
that I don't feel like Brandy walks around feeling like, oh, she needs to stay in the child's place every day of her life.
Oh,
But
right.
when
That's
she said
yeah.
that's how you really feel in real time. No, and that's basically like she said that, but then also probably came up because she's known her as a child. But like I don't think that any other day, Brandy's like, why is that little girl over here, or why is this child over? I don't feel like she feels that way.
I don't feel like she feels like that every day, but I feel like in conflict, she
Hmm.
feels like she's a child, and that's not correct.
And maybe she has to spend more time around her as an adult.
Maybe, yeah,
So
yeah.
I got one for you, Brandy.
I'm just saying, like, Brandy, when you want respect from others, you have to respect people as well. That's what
And
I'm saying.
I think Brandy might have said that.
I think she's starting to get this on that trip. Like,
Yeah,
you can't expect to talk out of the side of your mouth or cuss somebody out and then expect them to respect you. It just does not work like that, you know?
right. Chantel feels like Brandy has had childish behavior, not her. Chantel says she's not doing the back and forth because she's not her mom. Brandy says, "No, I'm not your mom. This is how you talk to your mom," which she
Which
does.
is but once again, that's not her place to say.
I mean, but on that show, Cindy.
I know, but so Deb, that you can't expect to say those things and have that girl not be mad at you. Come on.
I mean, she's just pointing out the obvious though.
But that's not her place to say.
On
Did
the
the other
show,
women say it? Nobody else said that?
I mean, not. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
We'll get to that later.
Okay.
At this point, you are absolutely right.
Okay.
Jackie asked for a Tito's neat. I want to point that out.
Yep, right.
I want to point that out.
Right, because it does come back up. And let's just be clear that Tito's is clear like water.
Which is interesting because they must have made her not to have that Bassard anymore.
Maybe. Or maybe she's just maybe she's getting on to some stronger stuff. I don't know.
I don't think no, Tito's is not stronger than that Bassard now.
Right. Because she would be wearing her sunglasses.
She would have been wearing Britney by the end of this episode.
Right.
She had that Bassard.
Right.
And what's going on to Miss Wilson in the chat?
Hey, Miss Wilson. And her dark sunglasses would have
Yeah,
been on.
I feel like she was really. No, we'll get to it.
Okay.
I'll go so fast. All right. So Jackie tries to step in and ask Brandy to not disrespect her daughter, but at the end of the day, it's between Chantel and Brandy. She wants Brandy to be respectful. Brandy wants Chantel to be respectful. Chantel says Brandy can go to hell, and Brandy said, "You can come with me, baby." Okay.
Mhm.
Brittany's in the background yapping. Oh my God, I was getting my nerves. Um,
That's the one that I didn't want there.
yes, I know. She was in the back yapping, at the mouth. She also thinks that Brandy has had bad energy since they got to Vegas. This is Brittany thinking this.
Yep.
Um, Brandy says she didn't have an attitude on the day that they were having this little get together. Evelyn says she did because she had her hands at Shawnee's face like 3 times. And
Right.
we've kind of talked about this, but again, I did not feel like it was a thing. And that's what I was trying to say before. To me, I think in my generation, like, well, it is. We're in Vegas, like, this is what it is. Like, we do that, so it's not. To me, it wasn't like in a disrespectful way. To me,
But honey, okay. Okay. I
like
understand what
if I
you're
was
saying,
like
but
can fly, and my friends like, oh, you look good today, or you don't look good, but it does look good. I look good. Like we do that. So like, I'm
I understand that, but then you do that to everybody. Don't just do that to somebody that I just felt like it's disrespectful. Don't if you want to set me off there, well, I can be set off by a lot, but that that is a trigger for me. Don't put your hands in my face at
yeah.
all.
I just
Even if you're trying to be slick with your words, be
mhm,
slick with your words. Don't put your hand in my face like that.
mhm.
But I don't know. It's so interesting how you dismiss
What's up?
behavior that if it actually, hey California cutie, um it by when it's done by Brandy. If somebody did
Oh
that
no,
too, if
not a lot.
somebody if, but if no, let me just ask the question. If
Okay.
somebody did that to Brandy,
Mhm.
would you be offended?
If it was that, I would not have been offended because, like I said, in our generation, that's just something that we do. It's like I'm building myself, it's like build myself up, like, but I am cute, but it is.
So but if
Do
So
that.
if Shani did that to Brandy, you would have been
I
okay.
wouldn't. If in the way that Brandy looked, it wasn't like she was like trying to be disrespectful in her eyes. When I was looking at it, I'm like, it wasn't like, but I am a bitch. I mean, it is cute. It was like, but I am, because it is like that's. She was like, we're in Vegas. Like it wasn't like an aggressive situation to me. It was just like more like, but it does look cute. We are in Vegas. We going to this wedding. Like that's what it was.
Wow. Okay.
If Shanny would have did it like that, I would have never thought that was disrespectful.
I think it's disrespectful. Period. Don't put your hands in my face.
Yeah, I mean,
Even
like I said, I understand that, but I
and
just
I understand that maybe Brandy felt offended by Shawnee saying it's inappropriate. So maybe that was she was clapping back at her, which to me is a sign of disrespect when you're purposely doing that, putting your hands in my face. But whatever. It's neither here nor there or whatever.
I got you, Brandy. Okay. So yeah, Evelyn says
and
she.
and only he's got you, Brandy.
I'm gonna hold you down, Brandy.
Yes, he will.
Evelyn said, okay, we read that part. Shawnee says she wasn't going to address it because she didn't know what happened before she got there yesterday.
Right.
Brandy says she can have it. She's done. Evelyn feels like they should have defended her against. They're kind of all over the place with this too.
Yeah.
Uh,
They
this
were
is
like having a ponderosa like 2 days in a row.
and it was like in the confessionals, it was like it wasn't matching up. So y'all just like
Right.
confessional that Evelyn's having. But Evelyn feels like they should have had defended her against Christian's fake auntie. Why does she call that lady his fake auntie?
Because I don't think that that's his real aunt. I
Oh,
think that when in the blogs when they were going back and forth, I think that she's married to somebody in his family. I don't think that she's his
oh,
real. Yeah. But whatever,
no, because I'm surprised that Ming hasn't said anything else because Ming knows her.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I was.
Unless they didn't feel like it was valuable to the episode. They had too much other stuff going on, to be
Yeah,
honest. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna chalk it up to that.
Yeah.
Against the fake auntie when they went to Jennifer's wedding. This is different because Brandy is disrespecting Chantel, and she doesn't want to be involved because Brandy is in the wrong, and she doesn't think Brandy realizes sometimes her attitude is stank.
But it's true, honey. I'm sorry. I know that's your girl, but it's true. A lot of
They
the
all
girls,
have stank attitudes.
no, not like Brandy. Not like Brandy. A lot of the times, like,
Brandy can't do nothing.
she can't. She can do
Everything you do,
stuff,
Brandy, is stank.
but I just feel like sometimes, and I think that even Carlos said it when that a couple of like 2 3 seasons ago, he was like she was so aggy.
Baggy.
She gets like that. And look, again, that is her personality, and I'm not hating on her for it, but then don't get mad when people point it out, man. Like, and just say, you know what? I think it would be better for her. She's not going to do it. But I think it would be better for her to just say, I'm sorry that you feel like that, but I feel like I've been getting ganged up on. And so I don't have much to
Said on
say.
this episode.
No, but not to them like that.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like in the group. She said it into her assistant. It said quote unquote assistant.
Hmm.
And she'll say it to Jason. But she won't really say it when she's in the middle of the conflict. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe she's just like, well, maybe my attitude is stank because I feel like you guys have been ganging up on me. I think that would serve her better, but I don't think that's her personality. I think her personality is more like fight, fight, fight,
Hmm.
and then reflect on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like but I think that's why she gets quiet because she is like, I'm defending myself. I feel like she's always like in a fight or flight, like she's defending herself instead of just being vulnerable at the moment, not saying afterwards, because she did say it afterwards, but in the moment say, I feel like you guys are ganging up on me, and then they could respond at that time,
Hmm. Gotcha.
and maybe change their attitudes. Then maybe she could it kind of I don't want to jump ahead, but it kind of happens in this episode where her personality does change, where she's not being
That's what I was
defensive.
saying. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Because
Yeah.
at some point, something clicked, and she was like, you know what? Let me just chill.
Let me chill out. That's what I'm saying. Instead of fighting or defending herself, just chill out sometimes. I think that's where that, stank attitude that they keep observing is coming from. Is because she's trying to either fight or defend herself. And it's just like, just chill out.
Do you
Yeah.
know? So, do you remember when Jackie said, I think after one of these things, she was like, that's my Gemini daughter?
Mhm.
You know, Brandy's a Gemini too.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is she?
Yes.
Okay, so she has about 50 personalities living in there.
And what's funny, what's even more funnier is this. And shout out to Cutie in the chat. I think she's here for my birthday. My best friend, she's a Gemini too. And that
Oh,
Brandy,
really?
yeah, Brandy and her birthday's on the same day.
Oh, that is hilarious. Is she like Brandy's personality?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay, okay.
I can see a lot of Brandy in her. I can say that.
Okay. I do like a Gemini, but they
Yeah,
have a lot going on in there. Like literally they can change on a dime. They could, if they're not feeling something, they could just change.
yeah.
Hey, princess. Yeah. So maybe that's where, luckily for her, she kind of switched it up at towards the end. But go ahead with your notes.
Okay. Evelyn feels like they. Oh, I read that part. Shawnee doesn't like the drama. Da, 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 da. Shawnee doesn't like the drama. Wait a minute, where am I at? Brandy says she can have it. Evelyn feels like they should have defended her. Okay, Shawnee doesn't like the drama and redirects the gathering to Evelyn's birthday. Brandy
Right,
apologizes to Jackie, and Jackie says it's all good. Chantel gets up and leaves, and Jackie leaves with her.
right.
Chantel is confused why Brandy apologized to Jackie and not to her. So
I
now
agree.
she is side eyeing Jackie. I thought that was wrong too.
Right. It's like if
Yeah,
I was like, girl, however they longer they were arguing, we've been arguing for 20, 30 minutes, child, and you apologize to my mom?
yeah.
Like, so again, what I'm saying is, what I was trying to point out earlier is that she's giving Jackie the respect for being an elder, but she's not giving Shani the respect for being a grown woman. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, she really does see her as a child.
What's a grown woman,
Well,
though?
she's kind of treating her like a child, even though
I think
she's
the more that she hangs around Chantel, the more that I think even like at the end of this episode, that kind of changes.
no, because was still kind of treating her like a child, in my opinion.
Well,
but
I,
but at least but
I
at least she was being nice to her. At least she was
I
being
think
nice to her.
I think that that's true, but I also feel like at the end of this episode, they all were treating her like a child.
They were because
But I think
of,
she went into like little girl mode at the end too.
well, I feel like because of her mom. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, absolutely.
I don't sit
So.
I don't sit quietly when I see parents or people, doing wrong things to their kids either. You know what I'm saying? So I think that they came at it from that perspective, but we're jumping ahead because I have opinions on the difference between how Brandy was comforting her and how Evelyn, Shawnee, and whoever else was over there
This
was.
is Evelyn, Shawnee, and Brandy.
It was a difference, in
Okay,
my opinion. But go ahead.
okay. Um, Jackie and Chantel go outside. Chantel asks Jackie to go back, but keep Brandy out of her space. Ty gives Evelyn a pair of shoes.
Which
Jackie,
which I loved. Hey Ty.
those shoes were really cute too.
They were so cute. I'm like, is that her brand? Because I know she has a clothing brand, but I love the
Really?
shoes.
I wonder if those shoes are out in like in the stores because I would buy those.
I would too. I loved them.
Yeah,
And
me
I
too.
was like, that's so sweet. At least, she at least, I don't know if she got more gifts, but she got one from Ty, and I thought that was cute for
Yeah,
Ty.
and she was like, my son would try to steal the shoes. I was like, y'all wearing the same size shoes?
Right.
Not that big a boy.
Right. I didn't get that either, but whatever.
I'm like, he must have some big ass feet for a little boy now.
Hmm.
But Jackie comes back in, and they are surprised she came back. Shawnee tells, it's so weird to keep saying Shawnee and Shani and all that, but
Right. Well, while Shawnee is there, you can just call her Chantel.
yes. So Shawnee says she doesn't fight for her kid for herself, but she will fight for her kids. She would have to flip the table, and I want to do a little flashback with you, Cindy.
Okay.
So they gave her a lot of they gave Jackie a lot of flack, and this is why I was going up and down.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have flipped the table. Now, when Jennifer walked up into that party, remember when she got mad at her because she was talking about Shaq?
Yep.
Johnny didn't flip no tables.
No, she didn't. She was sitting there like quiet.
And then left with her kids. Like she did
Uh-huh.
the same things. I'm like, now don't come up here trying to hype up Jackie because you would have not, because you could have, and you didn't do that.
Yes, but I mean, I think, and again, I think at that point, eh, Shawnee could have just kept that to herself. I
Yes.
feel like it was already established that Brandy was being disrespectful. Like that. That's it. We don't need to rehash it. The woman's come back in here.
Never mind,
Um.
Jack. Shawnee keeps saying to flip them tape. No, just take it away from Brandy.
Well, but Brandy eventually had to take it away from herself. Like I just feel like, they already established it. So that's why when we get into more drama after that, I'm like, wow, why are you talking? But go ahead.
The last part of that was as Jackie says that she has boundaries with her daughter and she is not in it. Now, I want to kind of stop here really quick before we get to this next part.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I think it was like episode 1 when when Chantel had that conversation with Jackie about these boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
This is why it was confusing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, if I was Jackie, and maybe not if I was Jackie, because I think Jackie knows what she's doing. But I also feel like it is confusing. Like, was I supposed to say anything, or should I like stay back? Because we're grown in one space, but I'm supposed to say something in another space. But then we have these boundaries. Like, where do I come in at?
But you have to, I think we're speeding up just a little bit. So I'm just gonna say this
Well,
because
no,
I think
I'm just saying we ain't gonna go back to further into the episode. I'm just saying from this here.
no, no,
Whenever,
no. I'm just going to answer your question. I
mm,
feel like Jackie doesn't know when to come in on, but when Shani says, which is very telling, that they don't understand the relationship that she had with her mom growing up because she felt like she had to be perfect and that she was afraid.
yeah.
And she said she was afraid of her. And when she said she was afraid of her, I
Oh
think
wait,
that that's
don't go to yet. Don't go to yet. Yes.
okay. Okay.
Okay, I got you. Yes, I'm with you.
Okay.
Don't go to yet.
But still, I mean, if I were Jackie, nobody would be talking to my daughter like that. And I know that she's trying to give her grace to be an adult and handle her own conflict.
Mm.
But also, you can't just have the conflict, but don't disrespect my kid. Do you know what I mean? Like I would have said something personally, but
I just wonder what the conversation was before Chantel decided to join the show.
right. I think that the conversation was like, let me handle it with these women. And I think that's what she was trying to do. But I do understand Chantel's point being like, why are you giving Brandy grace, but you're not saying anything about me
Okay,
or anything for me? You know what
I
I mean?
see that a little bit.
Yeah. Because even when Brandy leaned over and apologized to her instead of Chantel, she was
Mhm.
just like, I'm sorry. And Jackie was like, it's okay. Like, but she wasn't really that calm, you know, in dealing with somebody attacking her daughter. So
But you know what I went to when this part happened,
mm,
and I'm glad that me and you we're like watchers of this, like the entire show,
hmm
from day one. To me, it kind of just goes back to like how they deal with the show, like regularly. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
it's only how the show starts off when it's Malaysian Brandy or Brandy and her or Malaysian her or with anybody. They got to
hmm
make up shit with Jackie. And I think that Jackie kind of suffers from separating herself as a mother on the show and
hmm
then also being a part of the show.
I agree. And she did both during these episodes.
Yeah, I think that was like a high part of contention for the episode.
I agree. And I feel like the cast members also have a hard time separating those two.
Yeah, okay, so we on one accord. Look
Yep.
at us.
Look at us. I love it.
Well, we're gonna get something right together on each one.
Exactly.
Okay, so the next one is they had a day out. Jackie calls Jennifer to invite her to hang out with her, Brandy, Ming, and Denise. Every time I say Denise, I'll be like, oh damn, that is another person on the show.
And she's so quiet. And then they'll pan out and she's standing there. I'm like, does she ever talk?
I know, like it's like I didn't even. It's I never remember she's on the show at all.
Me neither. I mean, other than Alonzo Ball is her baby daddy, but
I don't
you
even
know,
remember that.
yeah, I remember that much. But I'm just kind of like, what are you what are you bringing? Although I don't, she's not bothering me because she's not being annoying. So
Yeah.
fine, it's just another girl on the
Like
show.
a friend of who has the actual like cast.
Yes, yes. Well, I mean, even in the opening credits, Ty and her and Ming are not in. They're walking together. No, Chantel, Denise, Ty, and Chantel walk in together, like
Okay,
in the opening credits. So
I
they
never.
are kind of like friend ofs, but Ty is having a bigger role than I thought she was gonna have.
Because I thought Ming was gonna be the basketball wife.
Yeah, me too.
So, but I also like that Ty has the role that she has though.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So they had their day out. Um, they
They
split
go
into
they go zip lining.
yeah, they split into the group. They split the groups up. Jen says that Christian will let her hang out with them for a few hours. Jennifer had a good night with Christian. He sucked on her toes and kissed her in the mouth, which was disgusting.
Gross.
Um,
So gross. I literally almost gagged. I was like, "Whoa."
I was like,
Exactly.
no,
No, we never need to see it.
no, oh my god,
Never need to
I
see
throw
it.
my mouth a little bit.
Gross.
I mean, I understand that's your husband, girl, but no,
But
no,
we don't need to see it. Like,
no.
do
Do
what
that,
you
do
do
that
behind
also.
closed doors.
Why did they even film that? I don't know.
I don't know. That's so
Not like
bizarre
I do not like feet. So
at all. But I never need to see him. He's always either talked about or they show them together. I don't care.
oh yeah, you're going to hear about him every single episode because she's on there.
Exactly. And no one cares.
I love when Jennifer said, she said, I'm like Mary J. Blige, no more drama. And I'm like, she reminds me of Mary J. Blige a lot.
Yeah. Who also is a bad chooser of mates.
Oh, yeah. Well, and they from New York.
Yep.
Yeah. Ming is excited to go to Area 15 because she thinks it's Area 15.
She thinks it's Area 51, where I'm just like, ma'am, you know that's in New Mexico. You're in Vegas, right? I was like, what?
I'm
You
like,
know,
Brandi said, girl, that's Area 51. I was like,
r-
Portia.
right? Like, it was giving Portia, okay?
Drove the train.
Right. Right. And who drove the train? We need somebody to drive the train. What? Yeah.
I'm like, girl, you think they're going to have Area 51 as an attraction in Vegas?
Right. Remember that time? Now I'm getting off topic, but I'm gonna get right back on. Remember that time when Portia was just like, it's 265 days.
Oh, yeah.
What? Like, she has those moments. Whew. But okay, Ming. All right, Ming. All right, Ming.
One.
Right.
Okay, so then they have Chantel's group is Evelyn, Brittany, Chantel, and Todd. They go ziplining. Chantel feels like Brandy's messed up Evelyn's birthday trip, but she's excited to hang out with the group of ladies do the zip lining. The other group has too much drama. Let them have drama where they go have fun.
Right.
Jackie's group, Jackie and the ladies go out to have drinks and food. She tells Jen they had a great dinner for Evelyn's birthday. She mentioned to Evelyn about what Christian.
No, and then Brandy was just like, "What?" She was trying to eat her food. She was like, "That was not a great dinner."
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Brandy was like looking at her like,
"What dinner was you at?
What dinner was you at?" Right. I did laugh. I thought that was funny. Her face was like, What are you talking about, ma'am?" It was bad.
Yeah, well, that was. She tells Jen that they had a great dinner for Evelyn's birthday. But she mentioned to Evelyn about what Christian's aunt said. But there was a moment that got heated, and Evelyn said Jennifer and the gynecologist and being spread open, sauteed, and filleted, something like that. Jackie never let Jackie relay their message.
Never. It's never going to come out the same way. Nope.
Something like that, and open with a yeast infection.
Yikes.
Jennifer's like, okay.
Right.
And one thing I love about Jennifer is like, although she has this chaotic life that's going over here, in her own mind, everything is fine.
Yep. In her own, literally,
It's
Those
fine.
words are have never been sure. In her own mind,
In her,
everything is fine.
she's like, okay, but who's married and who's not? I'm like, what does that have to do with anything?
Exactly. And I'm just like, when she said that, I was just like, it's not a flex.
It's
It's
not.
not a it's not a flex to be number one married, and especially married to him.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks that, wow, I'm missing out because I'm not married to Christian Cole. Like,
Right.
that's
Only
not a
person I
flex.
thought that is Jackie.
Right. It's not a flex,
It's
Jen.
Mrs. and Mrs. I'm like, okay,
Right.
have fun with that, y'all.
Have fun.
She doesn't care what Evelyn has to say, and she's putting the PSA out there. Okay. We
But
get
you but Jen, you're on the show because of Evelyn, and even when Ev was not around and took her little breaks, um what else has she had going on?
wasn't Jim still on the show though, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When even when Evelyn would take her little breaks, what else has Jen had going on other than this?
I can't tell you what Jennifer did on the shows.
That's what I'm saying. Other than now this,
Well,
kid.
we do know one thing. I'm gonna play that video.
Okay. Oh,
Oh, play that
Jelani.
video.
Okay. That was one thing that she had going on. You're right. You're right. Okay, I forgot for a second because
There
it's
is
been
one thing.
we've been so and didn't it so drowned out with Christian's nonsense that I forgot almost forgot all about him. But yeah,
Whatever happened to that hair loss she was doing?
I don't know. She doesn't talk about anything except for her man, her man, her man.
She's still renting out that hair.
She only talks about her man, her man, her man.
Yeah, I don't
She
know.
doesn't like what else has she talked about?
Her man
Thank you.
and the auntie and the
And the
family.
auntie and the fake auntie.
Every time Evelyn said it, cracks me. I'm like, why is she going down there to fake auntie?
Right. That's one of Evelyn's digs, which I just laugh.
Rick says, I think Jen is broke it for real. And I was about to say she broke his F. Sorry. I
I
say stuff that ain't there. I think Jen is broke for real, needs this income. I think she is too.
think so too, but then, her talking about production and producers and all of this stuff that she's been talking about, I don't think she's going to have that income, and which means that her man is going to have to go back to scamming.
I mean, is he stopped?
I don't think so.
I'll wait.
We'll wait when reports start coming in about child support and all of that stuff. We'll see if Jen's going to be mad that she's not going to be on the show. If she's going to stay on the show. I'm
Right.
just saying, like, somebody's going to have to pay it. So
Because I'm sure that money that she got from that divorce and her
it's
family
gone.
has to be running out very
It's
soon.
gone. But you have to remember, I don't know if you remember this. They did discuss this way
I haven't
years
told
ago. They discussed this years ago that Jen does come from money. I think her dad
Yeah, that's
was
what I
like,
said. That she got from her dad.
yeah, I think her dad was like her husband, which is why I think she's so drawn to them.
Mm. Though,
Hmm.
oh, got you.
Hmm.
When you said husband, I thought about the one she has now. I'm talking about the other one. The do the
Yes,
drinker. Yeah.
right.
What happened to Lucid? Was it Lucid? Lucid?
I don't know.
The lip gloss? The three lip glosses?
I don't remember. I really don't know what that woman has been doing. She
I ain't
used
seen
to.
it nowhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say she used to promote her stuff way more, but since meeting him, literally that's all she talks about.
Well, she's a YouTuber now too.
Talking about him. Is she?
I feel like he's like a fan of hers. Like I was
Yes, but
watching
I was gonna say,
episode.
wasn't she trying to act? And remember, she was like, I'm gonna be starring in
Yeah,
this, and I have
she
this
has a
production.
production studio where she makes those movies about people scamming her.
Well, she made that one, and that's it.
I
You
thought
don't
she
even
made.
hear her talking about that anymore.
Yeah, you don't,
She only talks about her man.
because she was talking about that movie for like years, and then it finally came out.
Yes.
No one talked about it, and then she just never brought it back up again.
No, I think it went to like Tubi, but I
Yeah,
did see her special. It did come out on VH1. They did
yeah,
air like her episodes of,
it was
I
on
think it was like
VH1.
three. Yeah, it was on like three or four episodes on VH1, of her talking about the man that had stole her car.
Cindy, I thought that came out on Tubi. I ain't gonna lie
I
to
think they did after it aired on real TV. I,
I, I think I seen it on Tubi. I think I seen it
yeah, I
on
think it's on. Like I said earlier, I said Tubi. It's on Tubi. Nobody cares. But
No,
again, I
I
thought
didn't
she
know it
was
was on VH1.
heading in that. I thought she was heading in that direction. I cannot believe she would be so but I couldn't. I can't believe that she would be gullible enough to marry him. But I cannot believe that she would be so gullible, thinking that this man is going to take care of her
Yeah. I mean,
and has
he's
a real
scamming.
income.
Yeah. I mean, he's scamming. So, I mean, maybe he can until he can't.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's supposed to, that's what we're talking about. It was called Lucid, or something like that. Okay, so we got to Chantel's group. Brittany, they're in a group. They went to the thing,
The zip lining.
ziplining. I'm going to call it skylining.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany asked about the comment about Jennifer, about the yeast infection. Evelyn says that Jennifer actually called her about it. It was actually like a blowfish. It was like blown
I
up, and
was cracking up. I was cracking up, and Ty was like, "Oh." She was like, Ty was like, "I don't want no cream. I don't want no. I don't
oh,
want any cream. No Krispy Kreme. No."
she said, "I'm delivered. I'm delivered."
Right? She was like, "I'm straight now. I'm delivered." I like her more and more. I really like her.
Yeah, Mimi made had a bad taste of the top for me, but now I like her. I like her a
I
lot.
really like her.
Yeah. She says, you said the Krispy Kreme part.
Hmm.
She says if Jen is going to let Christian's auntie talk about her cat, then they're going to go tit for tat. That's
Right?
what everyone said.
That's what Evelyn said.
Yeah. Then we get back to
And
Jack.
and and Jen should know that she's not going to back down. She's not afraid of Jennifer
Yeah,
or the auntie or nobody.
we'll get to that when we get there.
Right. But that reminds me of her famous line too. This ain't a sisterhood of nobody.
This ain't a sisterhood of nobody.
Oh, I love it. But
I
you
wish
know what
Brandon could say that.
can I just make a comment about
Yeah,
Evelyn
yeah.
and Christian?
Mhm,
Jennifer has been knowing her way longer than Christian. I know that that's her man, her man, her man, and she's into it. But she knows also Ev's background and history of DV.
mhm,
And the fact that he goes is so aggressively negative
mhm,
towards Evelyn, regardless of what Evelyn's like. Any man that in my opinion that messes along in women's mess is
mhm.
not a real man to me. So
Yeah.
the fact that he has so much aggressive negativity towards Evelyn, you would think that that would trigger, like, ding dong, Jen, she had the nerve to call somebody like duh. You would think that that would trigger in her mind that um his behavior is inappropriate, even if she's on the outs with Evelyn.
Even the way that he approached Brandy at that wedding,
Yes, correct.
I was like,
The way that he gets in the women's face like that, like
yeah,
with the slick comments and stuff, like, you're at your wedding, dude. Why would you
even bring
confront
this.
these? Yeah, like, why would you confront these women like that?
Yeah, that was
I, I
cringe.
just I just feel like it's very um it's not
Cringy.
only it's yeah, it's very cringy. It's not only disrespectful. It's like, it's like, I wouldn't be afraid of his little self, but like, you men shouldn't approach women in that way. I just feel like, once again, it kind of shows that he is, if we want to throw the word around, a felon. It
Mhm.
shows that kind of nature of him. And those red flags don't hit Jennifer.
At
Like,
all.
she feels like she's being protected by her man, but that kind of behavior is scary.
It's very scary. I agree with you on that, Cindy.
Yes.
I agree.
I
Um,
just had to say that,
and
because
they also
it's
think
because
that he,
it's not okay. It's really,
yeah,
really creepy and scary.
it really is. I
Yeah.
feel like he has like little man syndrome.
Yeah. Like
Um,
he has the Napoleon complex, right?
yeah,
Like, he
yeah,
feels like he needs to, like, bark, like he's like the chihuahua that barks at everything, even though he's so tiny. You know what I mean?
yep.
Like, yeah.
That's what it gives to me.
That's what it gives to me too. Yep. But knowing that he's had a past where he was actually, you know locked up for doing bad things to women, it just rubs me the wrong way. And that could also play into the fact of why I really get annoyed when he comes on the screen. Like, why are you in women's business? Go and do something else. Go and do your scamming. Why are you on the camera? We
You
don't need
know
to
what
see
I
you.
you know what I think about sometimes though?
Hmm.
I hope that what happens with this, if I pray to God nothing ever happens, but I just hope that like Evelyn prying at this doesn't cause him to like spaz out on her. Um,
Right.
because like when you jump off of a balcony away from a person, that's a lot.
That's a lot. That means that man, you have to be extremely fearful to go through that.
Yeah.
And the fact that, once again, knowing that that was what he was arrested for and in jail for, that wasn't a red flag to Jennifer. It's just cringy to me to watch him even talk like she feel. It's like, what is it like? Remember, it's just like a woman being controlled by a man. He always jumps in. He always talks for her. Now,
A
she could
lot.
start a lot. Like, she could start off a conversation. I haven't even watched the Hollywood Unlocked interview with them because I don't think I could sit through
I didn't
however long.
either.
Yeah, however long the interview is, because I know he's gonna do all the talking. And him and that raspy voice, just he rubs me the wrong way. And I feel like,
It's like
she
a raspy light voice.
yes.
Like,
You know what I
oh,
mean? Like, it's
like
right.
I'm like, I can't listen to this all the time.
Like,
I
I
don't
can't do it. I can't listen to it.
I'm
Like,
on
yes,
days
but
like
the
I'll be annoyed.
100%. But the fact that he is, the show has finished wrap. Like, it's wrapped up. The season is over. So why are you still barking, little man?
I don't think that he's gonna stop until the next season. I wonder if she's coming back.
I don't know. I don't think he said in multiple interviews he doesn't want her to go back. But then I'm like, then who's gonna make some
Who's
money?
gonna make the money?
Who's gonna make some legit? Let me just say this: legitimate money.
Yeah, because you're not being able to wipe your ass with $1,500
Right.
after she quit this job.
Right. And then, but once again, I feel like she feels, so many things are alarming to me about this. And I'm sorry, I'm getting way off the topic of the episode, but he is alarming to me. But the fact that also he has these kids, two young, very young children, that
Mhm.
he's not focused on. He's so focused on only on Jennifer.
Yeah,
Like, that's not a red flag to you, ma'am. He doesn't
it
care about
reminded
his.
me a lot of Holly, Haley, Bailey, and DDG.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. But I mean, at least DDG seems to want to be a part of his kid's life. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's true.
Whereas Christian, he never even talks about the fact that he has kids. And if it wasn't in.
But I'm talking about this, the clout chasing part of it. Like he's
Oh
connected
yes,
to Jennifer
definitely.
for this clout part to put
Definitely.
himself in a limelight situation.
I think he's just trying to position himself to be around people that
Yeah,
he feels have a higher net worth, to be able to
I think so too.
to be able to scam them. But whatever. Anyway, let's get back to that. We're way off.
All
Okay, so
right.
we're at the zip lining. We done with the zip lining. We're done with
So we're
the
back. We're back to Jackie's group.
right.
Jackie says they know that when she feels like she needs to speak up, she will. She's about Chantel.
Mm-hmm.
She's at the point now where she feels like she has to. So she said, Brandy said something about her daughter that she didn't. She told Brandy. She said to Brandy that she said something about her daughter that she didn't really like. She kept it cool. She told Brandy if they need to argue, Brandy and Chantel, then they can, but be respectful. Then we go back to Chantel's group. Evelyn brings up the conversation about Brandy telling Chantel to stay in a child's place. Evelyn thought Jackie was going to flip the table. Chantel thought she would have too. Evelyn says that if it was her daughter, she would have lost it. And then I want to rewind it back again. When it was calling daughter to build a bear,
Right.
Evelyn did shake the table a little bit, but she didn't flip no tables.
Yes, but she went off. She did lose it. She
She did
completely
lose
lost
it.
it.
She
And
did.
then remember when they got outside, she like knocked over that metal. She went off. She
Yeah.
went crazy.
But
She
she didn't
did.
flip the table, is what I'm saying. There was a table right there in front of her, is what I'm saying.
But yeah, but you know what she meant.
I know what you. I know.
She went off, like,
Just saying there was a
she
tape
just
where it could have
didn't.
been flipped, and the defense
Yeah,
was there.
but she just didn't sit there like Jackie did, which was eh, odd in a way. I don't want to see them
I
flipping the
think that
tables.
when Jackie is processing what's happening, I think her and Evelyn process things very differently. But
Okay,
in my mind, do I think that Jackie was flipping out of her mind? Yes, I do. I don't think that Jackie wasn't flipping out. I think Jackie is trying. I think Jackie and Brandi had a conversation, or somebody had a conversation with both of them, and they're both trying to figure out how in to be in this space with these women who are not.
I think that, but I also think that Jackie and Brandy have their own relationship, and I feel like when Brandy did apologize, I
Mm.
think that calmed Jackie down a
No,
bit.
listen, what I'm talking about is their behavior, just specifically to this episode.
Okay,
There, to me, there was a conversation that had been happening to them because they were very like trying to be unbothered. Although I think
right.
Brady was kind of really unbothered, to be honest. But I can tell that in Jackie's mind, Jackie would have flipped that couch
No,
over
I
soon as
feel like she was bothered.
who
But I
Brandy.
think, yeah, but I feel like she was, again, defending herself and fighting because she was in that mode. And that's why she got quiet. And so I
Well,
feel like she
but
was
you,
ready. I feel like she was kind of,
no, I agree with what you're saying, but I'm saying I think there was a space. I think Shawnee, I think it's in these notes at some point when Brandy grabbed that drink and she drank that drink. It was like a woosah moment for her. She was like, you know what, let me chill.
yeah,
And then
okay.
Brandy she cooled out for the rest of the episode until she had to go console Chantel. But we'll get there because I think I wrote the notes down for that.
Okay.
Um, Evelyn says that if that was I said that part. She has seen her mother go off for less. Brittany chimes in. Oh my God. Brittany chimes
Right.
in and asks about Jackie saying that they have boundaries. And at first I was annoyed, but then I was glad that Brittany did bring this up. She asked Chantel, "Is it true that she wouldn't have wanted Jackie to interject?" Because that was a question that I did have too.
Uh-huh.
Chantel says that is true. She can take up for herself, but in a space she sees in wait, but in this space she sees Jackie isn't going to interject, and that's cool. And I'm
Right.
like, well, is she supposed to or is she not? I don't understand.
Right.
She says she
I don't think that, once again, they have fleshed out what those boundaries are.
And
You know what I mean?
I think they should have done it because to me, I do think
Yeah.
that Jackie's confused as to when she's able to. Because I feel like had Shani not said nothing to her, she would have been interjecting the entire damn time.
Really? Okay.
With Shani, yes, I think because she wants to protect her image, and I guess we'll get to that towards the end.
Yeah.
Um, she said that she can handle her own. Ain't nobody scared of Brandy. She didn't have a high expectation for Jackie, but she's seeing her have Brandy's back more. Than hers hurts more.
It felt that way to her. Yes.
Yeah. She tries to bury her childhood and she's experiences she's had with her mom, but this is triggering for her.
Yeah.
And this is where I started to say, okay, here we go. This is the
That
story.
me too.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm like. It might be triggering for you, ma'am, but it's not you. Get out of their relationship.
No, this is what Chantel is saying.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant Brittany.
No, this is what Chantel is saying. Brittany hasn't said this yet.
Okay, then
Uh,
yes, I can see. I'm fine with everything that Shani says.
yes.
I'm fine with
I'm like,
everything that she
okay, this
says.
makes so much sense because we're already on edge when we get on the show.
Yeah.
And I think that when we're talking about Brandy having misplaced all these things going on, there's also a lot of misplaced anger. And once we get towards the end of this episode, now it's like, okay, now this entire shit makes sense.
Right.
So we'll get there in a minute. So she tries to bear, I said that part. It takes her back to the moment when instead of choosing her children, she chooses up. And I guess that's Brandy, which I don't understand she's up, but okay.
I no, I feel like when she said up, I feel like she means like
On the
not
show?
brand. Yeah, not Brandy in particular. Like just not her children. I feel like maybe up to Chantel is Doug, anybody but her kids. You know what I mean?
But I'm saying in this way, she was talking about Brandy. So I'm like, is Brandy up because she's been on the show longer?
I don't think she meant Brandy at all, but Go
No,
ahead.
'cause the conversation was she said she didn't have high expectations for Jackie, but seeing her have Brandy's back more than hers hurts more. She tries to bear her childhood and experiences she's had with her mom, but this is triggering for her. It takes her back to the moments when instead of choosing her children, she chooses us. So she's talking about the situation with Brandy.
I
But I
know,
was
but I don't feel like she meant Brandy per se. I
okay,
think she just meant anybody but her kids. Do you understand what I'm saying?
got you.
Like, just her behavior is never to protect her children, in Shani's opinion. I really don't think that she meant Brandy.
Got you. Well, my only other question is, do you want a Krispy Kreme donut?
At this point, nobody does. Thank you. Okay.
That's what Evelyn asked, and Ty said, "Hell no, don't give me nothing."
Exactly. Exactly. And I'm with Ty. Okay.
So then we go back to Jackie's group. They're having drinks and stuff. I would never do this, Cindy.
Never.
Never in my life I would do this. I'm sorry,
Nope.
it would never happen.
It's just why? Why?
And
Why?
I think I've been seeing a few months ago, or one of those things dropped.
Right.
I
It's
would
just
never do this.
I would never.
Mm-mm.
It's nothing about it seems fun to me, but okay.
But they went up on one of these bars in the sky. It's one of those cranes. They pull you up in the sky in Vegas, and then you have drinks. You can see through the floor down to the ground, and you can see all around. No, I'm sorry, would not.
No.
I'd
Mm-mm.
rather just smoke weed and get high. I would never.
Thank you. Or just or I'd rather be on a rooftop, okay?
A
Where
roof
I know a whole building is beneath me,
beneath.
okay?
Yes, I got layers before I get to that ground.
Right. Exactly.
Brandy says she's been through some shit on this trip.
You
She
did.
wanted to be inclusive when she came to Jennifer and Evelyn's birthday and the wedding.
No, but no, and that's where Brandy keeps messing up. There's
Well,
no it,
she's just
there's
getting how she felt.
no, but that's why they were trying to tell her, and she just still doesn't get it. There is no inclusive with an Evelyn. It's just like there's no inclusive with a Malaysia and a Brandy situation.
I just
Really?
I want to.
Wait. Let me just say, not when they're at the height of anger. You
I'm
know what
with
I'm saying?
her.
Like they when they're currently arguing, no, it's never going to be a good idea. I'm sorry, Brandy. I don't understand what she doesn't get about that. It's never a good idea.
I think that's the LA way though for them. That's what
No.
they not the Lulu.
California cutie, you had him clutch his pearls. Exactly. Completely Delulu.
Not
Thank
the
you.
Lulu. Oh my God, no.
Thank you,
I'm gonna have
sis.
to disown you.
Thank you, sis. No, my good sis understands exactly what I'm talking about. It is Delulu. But you
By the
clutching
way,
your
real
wait.
y'all go
You
check
clutching your
out.
pearls is everything. You said
I was offended. I was
not
appalled.
Delulu. It's everything. It's everything.
Y'all go check out Juice the Door's song, Delulu. I love that song, by the way.
Yes.
um, yes, okay.
Whew.
So then Jen says she doesn't know what Brandy was going to. She didn't know what Brandy thought was going to happen, but she told
Thank you. That's what I'm just
her she was
saying.
she
I'm
was
telling
coming to her
you.
wedding, and she decided to throw Evelyn a birthday party at the same time. She didn't think it was going to be a good idea. Brandy says when it happened, she took a beating for the outfit she wore to Jen's wedding. She was confused why they was mad and Jen wasn't. Um, then Denise finally shows up. This is like 45 minutes into the episode.
Right. And also they weren't mad. Shawnee just said it was inappropriate. And I agree with her, but whatever.
No, they brought it up at the beginning of this episode too.
But also I feel like Jen doesn't care about anything and because she's happy with her man.
This is Jennifer's world. We just live in it.
Right. She's only focused on her man.
Yeah.
If it was any other season, she would have side-eyed Brandy in her in that dress going
It's
to a
just her
wedding.
and Evelyn were friends.
Well, she would have side-eyed Brandy because Jen is such eh,
And if you're gonna
a
say
label a
Jennifer's
la-
perspective, you're gonna say Brandy.
wait, go ahead, say that again.
If you want to say it from Jennifer's perspective, you gotta say Brandy.
Brandi, okay. I mean, Jen is such like a label whore. I don't know if I can say that word. I'm sorry, you two.
No, you can.
Um, okay. So that she would have side-eyed her. That's how she is about the fashions. Like, so yeah.
The dress was cute though, and
Not for a wedding.
I thought it looked good on Brandy. Period, but I just
She
think Brandy.
she looked fine, but not going to a wedding.
It was a Vegas wedding. Okay,
I don't care.
people go to Vegas weddings in jeans.
I don't care. You're on TV, ma'am.
Okay. Well, Denise finally shows up. I mean, and she wants to find a way to chime into this conversation. She says the only thing that Shawnee said is that she couldn't have worn that to her wedding.
Exactly.
Brandy says, "Well, I wasn't invited to her wedding, so she should have worried about what."
Right.
Denise
that was a good little quick read from
it was
Brandy.
a good read. I was like,
Yeah.
"Come on, they good read."
Right.
I was loving that one.
Yeah.
Brandy says she will. Oh, I said that part. Denise feels like since Brandy had got to Vegas, she's wanted to smoke with everybody, especially Chantel.
Yep.
So the fact that she's in the hot seat, she should just take some accountability. She wants to know why Brandy took out her anger on Chantel instead of Shawnee.
Well,
Now, like
Denise.
give her that much flack to. Did I miss something?
Denise wasn't wrong. I'm sorry. I have to agree with her.
But this when okay, so cause this I was kind of confused at this point. So when
Okay.
she commented about the dress, was it like it wasn't an argument though, right?
No, but she was putting her hands in her face like a disrespectful, and instead of because she doesn't want to be thanked for her services again, so instead of
Thank you for your services.
exactly, and I feel like she has a now she and Shawnee have a boundary, but it did kind of seem like she did take it out on Shani
I,
instead of Shawnee.
I think that was a neutral thing. I think that Shane would take a lot of shit out on Brandy as well, but we're not going to agree on this, so we're going to
No, let's move on.
um I said that Ming agrees she feels like Chantel got the short end of the stick.
Yep.
Brandy says she gave it to Chantel because she was indirectly being rude and trying to be funny. And this is what I thought.
She was as well.
And that's why I feel like she was giving it to Chantel. But
I don't feel like okay. I'm sorry. I don't mean to backpedal here.
Mm.
I don't feel like Chantel was being subtle shady. I feel like Chantel was giving her opinion, and Brandy didn't like it because Chantel's opinion was negative of Brandy. Does that make sense?
She doesn't say nothing nice about her at all.
She doesn't because she didn't feel like she did anything good. She felt
But
like she was
episode 1. She really hasn't.
No, I feel like it was just the start of it was in Vegas, especially when they got to the Evelyn birthday house and she found out that she invited Jen. And
I'm gonna go
then
back and watch the
yeah,
full.
go back and watch that.
I
The
feel like
first
for some reason
part of the
Chantel hasn't really been fond of Brandy at all. Period.
yeah, the first part of the Vegas trip, she did give her opinion, but she was talking to the other ladies and not Brandy. And Brandy, you could see her in the episode leaning in to listen what they were talking about. And then she got into it with Shani. And so Chantel then was just kind of like,
Oh yes, because that's why Brandy said, "Bring it to me."
exactly. She said, bring it to me. And so Chantel was just like, I'm just voicing my opinion, basically.
Now Cindy, now Cindy, now Cindy.
Now hold on, let me finish. And then from that point on, Brandy kept making it seem like, okay, little girl. And I think that Chantel just didn't let her get away with it. She started to fight back. I don't feel like Chantel had an because she was at her own Airbnb with her babies.
So they
She
had a
wasn't even in the she was
in your
but
room.
listen, she wasn't even in the house with them full time like that.
She left because of Brandy. She said that.
No,
But
she was already no, she didn't want to be in that house with them. She wanted her kids and her to stay in an Airbnb. And in my opinion, I think it's because of Jack.
she said on the episode she left because of Brandy's energy was off.
Well, that's because she
That
was
was on
visiting,
episode.
but
That
she
was
wasn't
episode.
staying there. She wasn't initially staying there at all.
She brought her bags to stay.
No, she was staying with her kids.
She brought her back. I watched episode 6 today because I was trying to catch up on 6 and 7 before we. I mean,
Rewatch.
No. When I'm gonna send it to you too. She brought her bags to stay because I wanted
No,
to bring the bag into the
we're
house.
talking about Chantel, correct?
She had a roller bag. She brought to the house. She was going to stay, but because there was so much bad energy between her and Brandi, she said she went back to the house and stayed with them because she doesn't understand how her mom and her friends have this type of relationship where they can be arguing one night and to be okay in the morning. She said that.
Okay, she did say that part, but I don't think she was going to actually stay. I know that she brought her nanny and her kids. I don't think she was planning on staying there the whole time. Maybe she was going to stay there and get dressed there, but
Maybe
I
they just
don't.
created the illusion for the show. I don't know, but
Maybe. Okay,
I
all right, whatever.
like she was going to stay.
Okay.
I was going to say something to you now. I forgot what it was.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Um, Ming agrees she feels like Chantel. Brandi says she gave it to Chantel because she was indirectly rude. I said read that. Okay, but she takes accountability and apologizes for telling Chantel to stay in the child's place.
Which I
Jack,
appreciate. Which I appreciated. See that this reflective, and like I said, this is why I think that she says things and then doesn't realize how inappropriate it is, and then she comes like she processes the information, and then
it was now.
what?
What it was now. So what were we just talking about? It was something because she's taking accountability. She wants to know why Brandi took out her anger on Chantel. Blah, blah, blah. It makes sense. It was something about Tammy I wanted to bring up, but I can't remember what it was.
About Tammy?
Yes. It'll come
Hmm.
back to me again. It was something about Tammy because the same thing that Brandi is doing, Tammy does this.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'll think about it later.
Is it about like getting angry and then coming back?
It's what it was. They were talking about her in the other room.
Right.
And Tammy was number one to say, if you got something to say about me, say it to me. Don't talk to
Right.
anybody else.
I agree.
And everybody went up for it. Oh, yeah, you better go tell Tammy. Don't put your finger. Tammy, don't talk about them behind her back. But when Brandi says anything wrong, I
Right.
just like it's a double standard. That's what it was.
Well, okay, it might be a double standard, but I mean, again, you're still. I mean, it's kind of a brand new. They're not brand new, but brand new group of girls
Every
trying
girl
to.
that came onto that show that was new, Keisha, she was new.
Right,
And
right.
she
She
told
was
everybody else besides Tammy, and Tammy
right,
was on her ass because she would not tell it to Tammy. So I
right,
feel like
right.
Brandi has the right to say, don't tell it to everybody else, tell it to me.
She should, but I think she only did that was because the opinions of her was negative.
That's why Tammy did it.
Yeah, but I don't feel like so she said that, but again, you can't fault people for their opinion.
But
She
you
but
also
and I feel like they all said it to her face, and then she didn't like that
when? When did Chantel tell us to her face?
when they were in the house. It started when they were in the house. Chantel was directly looking at Brandi and talking to Brandi.
I think they were shading Brandi about the food stuff, and that's why what hyping Brandi up was Ming.
No, that was me. Okay, it did start out with Ming and Brandy. It did start out with Ming and Brandy. Okay,
And then
but then
Chantel joined in.
when Chantel got there, it became about Brandy inviting Jennifer.
Because the atmosphere was already nasty about Brandi because of
Right.
Ming, and then they added Jennifer into the equation.
That's okay. That's fair.
So,
That's
Brandi,
fair.
that's two for me, Brandi. Okay.
Oh, he's the only one keeping count, Brandy. But go
I'm
ahead.
saying, I'm doing my best, Brandi. All right. All right. So Chantel, oh wait, let me go back up. But she takes accountability. She apologizes, telling Chantel for staying in the child's place. Jackie says it needs to
That
be
was
addressed.
in my opinion, that was the first right thing she did on the trip.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. I'm just
Jack,
saying, like that was the worst to me.
okay. I'm gonna ride with that.
Right.
I'm gonna ride
Like
with.
her cussing and not cooking and not have the seasonings and all that stuff. That none of that matters to me.
I wouldn't
When
cook nothing for them, especially if Ming is up. You cook with
right,
your one seasoning. You cook,
right.
but that's me. I'm with. I think it's because we're the same age.
Right.
And she's my best. I think. Oh my god, that's why I like her so much. But let's move on. So Jackie says it needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed, but she's not getting in the middle. Chantel's a grown woman, which is what Chantel already said.
Right.
Brandi thanks Jackie for not giving her a hard time. Uh,
Right.
once you get to know her, you will love her. That's what Brandi said. Once she gets Chantel in private, she will apologize. Jackie invites Jen out for drinks with the rest of the ladies. Denise
Which
chimes
is
in.
which nobody needed. Thank you, Jackie.
Hold on. After this, give me 1 second because I want to add both of them.
Yep.
Denise chimes in again and says, "Yeah, because the rest of the ladies didn't get a chance to know you, Jen. It comes if she comes, she doesn't have to talk to Evelyn. Now, no one needed this at all, but
No.
also I want to put a pin in this
Right. Right.
because this comes up later too.
Yep.
All right, Jen says she doesn't have a problem with it. Then we get to this last scene, which is long as hell. So let's get into it.
All right. But let me just say, Denise, nobody knows you, honey.
Yeah.
Nobody knows you, baby. You don't need to chime in and say, come on. You don't know these women enough to say, come on, and we need to get to know you better. No, let her go back to her man, her man, her man. And we didn't need her for dinner and drinks.
It was like that was in the back, like, Denise, say something.
Right.
You
Right.
had
Right.
to say the whole time, say something.
Right. That's what it was giving. But whatever, she chimed in, gave her little opinion. Okay.
So we get to the ladies all meeting up for dinner for the last day. Jackie just over for the dinner because Brandi has been through so much. Chantel gets jealous about this.
I was thinking when she said that, I was like, oh, so Deb is loving this.
My
She
notes
don't
say,
know.
listen, my notes say, and Chantel gets jealous again.
Not jealous again. She's not jealous of that woman. Wait a minute.
That's
Go
what my
ahead. No, come on. Go ahead.
Jackie kissing Brandy's ass is sending her to a different hemisphere. This is what Chantel said.
Yep.
She doesn't care what Brandi is going through. She's her daughter, and she knows what she's going through. Where am I
Which
at?
I
Okay.
thought was important, but okay. But then
I
again, with these boundaries, does Jackie really know everything?
no, that's what I'm saying. Like to me, I feel
Yeah.
like there's so many emotions that we're having, but then also it's like, well, damn, should we all does Jackie know? Does
Does
anybody
Jackie know about
yeah.
the thing with her baby daddy? Like,
I don't like it's a lot going on here. Like nobody knows who knows what.
right.
Um she doesn't care what Brandi is going. Okay, I read that part. But now they have to sit as a group and feel sorry for Brandi. She does not feel sorry for Brandi.
Right.
Shawnee shows up. I'm like, where was she at for the zip lining?
She was probably like, you guys go shoot that scene. I'm not doing that.
She might have had church service that day.
Right. Maybe. We didn't need to see her anyway, but okay.
Like, I thought she was gone, but okay.
Right, right. For real.
Evelyn is happy Shawnee is there and Jen is not. I'm like, girl, you just don't know.
Right. It's about to change quick.
Right. They asked Denise to give a toast to Evelyn. I'm like,
Which I thought was so weird, right? I was like, we don't even know her. And I know I mean, and Evelyn probably knew her for 10 minutes before the toast. I was like, what?
I was so confused.
Me too. Like, if anybody should have gave the toast, it should have been Shawnee. I thought that was very strange. Maybe Jackie was like, let's just get this poor girl involved.
Jackie
I don't
had
know.
to start before she got the car.
Oh.
She like, let the dog over there in the corner give her
Something was weird. I just thought that was so strange, but whatever.
was. They talk about what they did on their separate trips, which ain't nothing really cap. We already read about it.
Right.
Jackie says she was proud of Denise for asking Brandi why she was directing her anger with Shawnee on Chantel. Brittany chimes in and asks, what was the response? Brandi doesn't want to have a group conversation. She wants to talk to Chantel in private. Chantel wants to do it in front of the group. Brandi shuts it down. Ty suggests apologizing to in front of the group and then going to a private conversation. Brady doesn't want to talk private. Brady wants to talk in private.
Wait, wait, wait. What did you think about that? All of that.
I felt like I would have too, because I feel like, to me, the reason why I think that she wanted to, because of Britney.
I don't think it was because of Britney, but okay. I really felt like at that moment, it was a missed opportunity for Brandi.
I think that
I
when they
know I know that she's
had
always on the defense. I felt like she was on the defense. I felt like that was a great opportunity for her to be vulnerable to the girls. Um
but then
and she
you would have Britney there like, well, apologize for what? Well, why did you say it? And then when
no
you
no no
said
no.
no,
I don't think that Chantel would have done that. I feel like
no,
she should.
I said Britney would have done that.
I don't think that Brittany would have done that. Even if I feel like if Brandy had taken that moment to be
Hmm.
vulnerable with the rest of the ladies in the group, the way that she is so loud when she is upset with somebody, I feel like they would have, because they were quiet for most of the dinner. Like they were quiet until they were arguing. So I feel like that was a missed opportunity. Even if she had a longer, additional private conversation with Chantel,
Hmm.
why couldn't she just apologize? She could have just apologized.
I feel like
That
when people are apologizing, like, you have to let people do that in their own way. Like, I think that Brandy could have went and had the private conversation and then came back to the group and did the same thing.
No, because like Chantel said, you called me out in front of the group and you're trying to sun me basically and diminish who I am. Then it should have been keep that same energy when you apologize. And again, like I said, even if they had a longer, deeper private conversation, that
Hmm.
would have been fine too. But in that moment, I really felt like it was a missed opportunity for Brandy to
So
just be like, no, no, no. Just she doesn't even have to make it all long and drawn out. Just be like, I did apologize to your mother, but I should apologize to you directly. So, I am sorry
I
for
just think
that.
the conversation would have been a little bit longer with them, because one, why did Brandy call her, say in a child's place?
Because she was saying she was confronting her basically because Chantel was confronting her about like saying like look, what you're saying is wrong, and so Brandy is just like, you're wrong and you stay in a child's place, like in the conversation, like in the argument. So it's just kind of like, no, her opinion matters too. So don't sit there and try to sun me in front of all these ladies and you can't even say a couple of sentences to apologize. I feel like she missed that opportunity. I feel like it would have de-escalated the rest of the evening if Brandy at that moment said, "You're right. I apologize." And then if they can continue the chaos, at least that part would have been de-escalated. Do you know what I mean? I feel like
I think
Brandy
that would. I
wait, wait,
think
wait, wait. I
this.
feel like Brandy digging her heels into wasn't a good look. They were already looking at her bad. So why not just apologize to the girl?
I think Brandy was over it at this point, and I think that when she
She
said
can't
that,
she can be over it, but still apologize when she's asking you in front of everyone to do so.
but technically, I just think that I think you cannot tell a person how to apologize to somebody. And yes, the way you want it to look, it can look that way. But I think even this has been not a brand situation. This has been like other people. Remember when Jennifer wanted to have a private conversation, when Malaysia was like, "Hey, let me go talk to you real quick," and she went to pull Jennifer to the side and tell her about the Shaq rumor. Like, to me, I feel like a lot of times when I have these group conversations, some people get involved in it, like the apology doesn't land.
I understand what you're saying to a point, but I also feel like Brandy gets in that fight and defense mode so that she was definitely not going to do it, and all of them were just like, just apologize.
But she wasn't even in fighting defense mode. She was like, "No, I want to do it in private." Like, she wasn't even like hyped up or
But
nothing.
for her to say
No.
that you didn't do it in private, you didn't sun her in private, you
But she
did
was
it in
talking shit about
public,
her in private, though.
huh?
Chantel was talking shit about her in private, and then Brittany heard it,
She wasn't really talking shit. She just gave her opinion and said that is strange that she would invite Jennifer. How is that talking shit?
because you're saying it to other people instead of saying, "Hey, Brandy, I think it's strange."
Then she told her in person.
Yeah, because Brandy heard her.
So what?
So to me, it's like, if like to me, I think because maybe I'm that type of person too. Like I'm not doing no group shit when I'm talking to my best friend or like let's say not even my best friend, anybody. If I'm having a conversation and like there's so much noise going around, I'm not having a group conversation. We can in pub like in a group, I will after we talk. But right now, to me, it's not going to be beneficial to have a group conversation.
I like
Apologize
I
to you
well,
because
like I
I
said,
answered everybody else saying, "Well, then why would you do it?" And I heard your apology because even when she did, oh well, that's not real. She said, "I apologize for the way." Well, that's not real. Like that's the type of shit. I'm like, see, and this is why I don't apologize because fuck both of y'all now at this point.
okay, well, let's agree to disagree. I feel like she missed an opportunity. I felt like it would have shifted the entire conversation if she just would have apologized. And that's it. I'm gonna stand on it. That's it. Let's move on.
Okay, I done lost where I was at in my notes.
Oh,
Rain doesn't want to. Okay, she wants to talk to Chantel in private. Chantel wants to do it in front of the group. Rain shuts it down. The niece asks, "Can she understand why?" And Brandy says she does, but it's gonna be in private. Brandy is tired of getting ganged up on. She said that, so that goes through what I'm saying. She thinks Ty is doing all this because her and Ming got cool again. Chantel says she didn't do anything to Brandy, which I think that's Chantel's opinion. Chantel feels like
I
Brandy
feel like Chantel was correct.
and we're going to agree to disagree.
Okay.
Chantel feels like Brandy directed her anger with everyone from the group towards her. Brandy apologizes for her feeling that way. Brittany chimes in again and says that's not a real apology. Chantel says Brandy doesn't view her as a peer. She doesn't view her as a woman in this group that she wants to get to know. She looks at her as a child.
Correct.
Which she thinks is ironic because the only person in the group doing childish shit in the group is Brandy.
Correct.
Brandy says,
I feel like it was childish of her just to not apologize, but whatever.
I think knowing your boundaries is not childish. I think that's actually an adult thing.
Mm-mm. That's not a boundary. She just doesn't.
Knowing when to avoid confrontation because you know how you are. To me, that's an adult situation.
No, that would have been her walking away. The way that Chantel got up and walked away from her. That was an adult move. Because I would have let her have it.
Okay.
But that's just me.
I think there was two adult things that happened.
Okay.
What she thinks that okay. Bernie takes a drink. This is what I was talking about. She takes a drink, gathers herself, and says, "We're good."
Right.
Evelyn is shocked. Brandy won't apologize.
Thank you.
Jackie says she apologized in front of everyone last night. Chantel wants to know why she apologized to her mom. Brandy says
Exactly.
because she disrespected her daughter in front of her mom.
But she disrespected her daughter. It should have been a hard stop. Period. You disrespected her daughter. So you should direct that apology to the daughter that you disrespected. And then if you want to sidebar, apologize to the mom, then do that. But apologize to her.
But see, this is what I'm talking about.
What?
Y'all pushing this lady to her boundaries right now because
Oh
now we
gosh.
doubling back on the staying in child's place. And I feel like Brandy was at her peak. Like I don't want to do this for everybody else because this is like we keep antagonizing this space. I want to be in a calm environment. And I ain't gonna lie, when she said this, I died laughing. I did.
Wow. Wow.
She keeps saying she wants to talk in private. Like at some point, you gotta know people you talking to and who you're around because
Right.
yes, you may want it this way, but in reality, in my time, like this is how mentally and maturely I can handle this. Is it wrong in your eyes? Maybe, but for me, it's gonna be the best.
Yes, it's wrong. It's
Yeah.
wrong. Because I can do both. I can do both. I can prioritize both.
But that's you though. I'm just saying. But there's
Yes,
been
but I'm grown. So I'm telling you this is what I need because what of your behavior, and you're purposely not going to give me what I need because you think what you need is more important, and that's not, you're in the wrong, ma'am.
I think two
So
things could have happened. It could have happened.
no, oh my God. What is the chat saying? No.
Ain't nobody saying nothing.
Okay.
So, Chantel has.
I just figure if somebody does something wrong to me, disrespectful to me or whatever, um and I'm telling you what I need, you're still disrespecting me by not giving it to me. I don't care what space you're in. You could be in whatever space you want to be in. Process it later, then come back and do your thing later. But if I do something wrong to someone, it's not about me anymore. Now, if they're telling me what they need, why can't you just do that?
I don't think life works that way all the time.
Oh wow. Okay.
Sometimes it has to work out in a way that will work out for both of y'all.
Okay, then it could have worked out for both of us doing it twice if I have to do it twice. But I don't purposely, as a grown person, sit there. If somebody is telling me that I've created a conflict with, telling me what they want, and then I just don't do it. And I'm a Leo and I'm super stubborn.
I think my thing is this: if Brandy would have said, "You know what, Chantel, I apologize,"
Just be mature and say that.
but no. But hear what I'm saying. If she would have said, "You know what, Chantel, I apologize," and then Brandy said, "Well, I think that's fake." See, then I would have blown up again.
But
So,
I understand that. Then that
so
I would understand.
save me from that, I want to talk to you in private
No.
that you know that I'm actually sincere. And
They're
then
all telling her that that was the wrong move. They were all
they're
telling
saying
her.
that they want to be a part of a conversation that's not really to do.
No, it's not that they were trying to be a part of the conversation because most of them were quiet during the whole fight, during the everything. They were letting them have it.
Brittany was chiming in a lot for stuff that she didn't chime in on at all.
Later, way later.
Mm,
Brittany was really, and I don't even like that girl, but she was really quiet for most of it until Jackie got involved, which was not her place. But what
I
we're
think
almost
it
there.
was high for Brandy like it was for Jackie though.
No,
No,
no.
okay. Well, I mean, listen, we can agree to disagree on this as well.
Yes, let's move on.
All right. Chantel asked Jackie if she accepted her apology. Jackie says, "Here's where I stand." I was like, "Oh shit, oh, shit." You
With her drink in her hand, I was
was her
like, uh
drinking,
oh.
but she only had water. Um,
No, she had the Tito's neat first.
no. 'Cause remember she said, we won't get to the point that she only had water though.
Okay.
I'm being in it. She said, "You and Brandy have an issue. That's y'all's problem. If I have the grounds to interject with which it seems like you are giving me the rights right away now, then I'll interject. But last night she felt she did where she was supposed to, and she thought that her and Chantel was on the same page. And
Right.
I'm assuming she's thinking when they went out to the parking lot
Yep.
when she sent her back in that they were on the same page.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, Jackie is really, I think, and I put this in quotations, so something I want to say. I think Jackie's really not trying to get in this conversation because Chantel created those boundaries, and she's trying to respect it. She's trying to figure out where she can fit in at.
Where she can fit in. Yep.
Yeah. Um, she said, "Don't drag." Jackie said, "Don't drag her in it." Chantel feels it's fake. Ty brings up Chantel saying that Jackie has flipped out over things smaller.
Hmm.
Jackie is like, "You said that?" No, just Jackie is like, "Oh, is that how you feel?" She said she like where am I at? Ty brings up that okay. Ty tells Jackie Chantel feels like she didn't step up for her. Jackie asks Chantel if that's how she feels. Chantel says she's removed herself from the conversation. So this was kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm
now
like,
this was a sad point for me too because
yeah,
this is when everybody should have stepped away.
yes,
Because now we've crossed over from we're doing the show to
mm-hmm,
now this is a mother daughter situation,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
And you know, and I also felt sad for Chantel that these women are being like, this is how you made her feel, and Jackie being like, is that how you feel? You know, now we're having a whole separate conversation, you know.
And I
um
feel like I think at this point, Jackie was like, I think Jackie was thinking like, well, are we at the boundaries part now? Or are we not?
right.
Well, I
No,
don't.
but yeah, but the way that she was asking her, and I know that this is a mother's tone and mother's way. She was being confrontational to Shani, and you could see Shani kind of shrink a
Wait,
little.
when she said, I think this part was supposed to step in at.
Yeah. When she said, "Is that how you feel?" She looked at her like, "Girl,
Well,
you better say the right thing." You know what I mean?
so no, okay, so I love this part. So I didn't look at it that way.
Okay.
I looked at it as, oh, because she had just said, if I'm supposed to step in at the time that I'm supposed to step in, which I'm thinking this is what I'm supposed to do this. And then when Ty said that, she's like, is that how you feel? Because like I thought we had bound, like that's how I felt about it. So that's
And it could have been that, but the way that I took it is
no, I like
we have
the fact that we took it two different ways.
yeah, and I'm like, yes, we might have had the boundary, but we also are mother and daughter. And the way that Jackie turned to her and said, "Oh, is that how you feel?" Like it was like the mother's tone of being like, "Girl, fix your face," or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I could see Chantel shrink a little. You know what I mean? I don't know. That was my take, and I felt bad for her. I was just like,
I never.
now I was gonna say now they have to have this mother daughter conversation in front of the group. So yeah,
I never looked at it that way. I mean, and maybe that's what it was. I don't know. I mean, it could be either way. I don't know.
I feel like Jackie should have just been like, we'll talk about this later, instead of being like, "Is that how you feel?" Like, speak up now or forever hold your peace. And so she was just kind of like, but again, I
But you
don't
know
feel
what?
like
You could be right because this is what Jackie got amped up.
right.
So yeah.
Well, she got more amped up because Brittany injected herself.
Well, yeah, go
Because
right. This is right after that. That's when Brittany. I put Brittany has injected herself.
yep, she interjected herself and triggered because she was triggered by her messed up relationship with her mother. And I get that you can be
Wait,
triggered.
you jumping ahead.
Okay, go ahead, go.
All right, so Brittany has interjected. She says Jackie is still who she is, and her daughter is who she is in this group. They are both a topic. Jackie laughs and says, "She like Brittany. I like you, but she's
Right.
done now. Find something else to talk about." When she said, "Well, I'm a part of this, you will know it." Brittany is upset about Jackie's hands in her face, which I was confused with this, because Jackie was talking.
I feel like she was just reaching over. I really don't feel like
She only reached across when she was pointing that evidence.
yeah,
She was like,
right.
"We all have a problem." But when she was talking to Brittany, she was like, she was doing this, but it wasn't in her face. I was like, "What is she talking about?" Um,
I think she was just triggered by the relationship of the mom and daughter.
yeah, and I think we learned that afterwards.
Yep.
But they argue about the relationship with Chantel. Ming says Brittany inserting herself made it work, which is very true.
Very true.
Brittany and Chantel go to the bar. Brittany brings up her past trauma with her mom. So this is that part.
Yep.
Um, she says, and at this point, this is when it made sense to me. I'm like, this is why she's so invested in a relationship, and she's putting out her past trauma with her mom on Jackie and Chantel.
Yep.
Jackie is happy. Meanwhile, Jackie's over here like she's so happy that Brittany has Chantel's back. Um,
Right.
Brittany's questioning Jackie's mothering.
But
Chantel,
it's just like the way she has her back is still
it's
pr-
now, yeah.
not okay.
But I also can see why Jackie may like her because I think that Brittany and Jackie are probably the same type of people.
Okay.
Chantel tells Brittany about the boundaries that she set with Jackie. She told Jackie she doesn't need to speak on her behalf, and I think this is when I really was like, "Well, then what the fuck are you mad at her about?" I don't. It didn't make sense. She said, "I says any normal parent would have said to Chantel if I was Brittany sitting there, I put these in quotations. This is what I want to say. I said any normal person would have said to Chantel, well, wait, if you said that, then why did you say why are you mad she didn't say anything? Right?
I feel I well yes, yes and no. I feel like when it she could speak up for herself when it comes to a regular conflict, but when someone is disrespecting her like in a you're a child scenario, she still wanted her mom to speak up for her, you
So
know?
let me ask you on a scale from 1 to 10, how bad was Brandy saying stay in a child's place?
That would be a 10. Don't talk to me like that. Who are you talking? I'd be like, who are you talking to?
Okay.
I'm not a child. I'm a grown married woman with children just like you. So don't talk to me like I haven't had a life,
Hmm.
especially in front of my mom. Are you crazy?
I don't think I'll put that on that level. So I mean, I think that's
Oh
where.
my God. Maybe it's a woman, maybe it's a woman thing. I
Mhm.
don't know. But don't talk to me like that. You're
I
not
thought
gonna
it was
tell
like
me
I thought it was like a
stay
read.
stay in a no, no, no. That's you. If she spat on me, that would have been worse to me than her spitting on me.
Oh wow.
Don't tell me to be in a child's place
Mhm.
like you are a 90-year-old, ma'am. Especially when your life is not together. Let's talk about your stuff. Then I literally would have hit
I
the
would have
ceiling.
turned this shit off, Cindy. I
Huh?
would have turned it if they would have brought up Brandy's relationship. I would have turned this off.
I know, I know, I
Because
know.
like, how many times we bringing this up? I would have turned it off so fast.
I know, I know. I mean, nobody wants to hear about it, but what I'm saying is don't then sit there and try to belittle someone if you don't want your stuff dragged up. You see what I'm saying? That's always been my problem with Brandy. Don't sit there and talk about somebody else's stuff and then you don't want your stuff talked about. Like, I'm sorry. That's it. But yeah, I definitely would have hit the ceiling. Don't talk to me like that.
Okay, we gonna move past it because we can go on forever for this.
Yeah.
Chantel feels like it's the difference between speaking on her behalf and what's right, what's right, what's wrong, what's wrong.
And that's what I just said. I
Yeah.
agree.
Jennifer walks in.
Ugh.
Evelyn is disgusted. She thinks Brandy.
Her face was everything. I was cracking up. I love Ev, so I was cracking up.
She thinks that Brandy invited her, which Brandy did not invite her.
Nope.
Uh,
Jackie and Denise did.
did. Yeah, and I wish they would have cleared. Well, I guess that was a confessional, so they didn't. For her.
Right.
Jackie updates her on what just happened. Brittany doesn't like how Jackie treats Chantel. We're going back and forth between the bar and them.
Right.
Jackie says she was uncomfortable to the point she was shaking, but she's a lot
Calm
calmer.
now.
And I
Hmm.
think that's because now the shit's off of her.
And
Um,
also maybe the Tito's on ice straight kicked in.
oh yeah, and that's all she was slipping in the meantime.
Exactly. Maybe that kicked in because she was holding her drink at that point,
Yeah, she was.
not
Uh,
water.
she brings up the Evelyn and Jen stuff. She wants to put it to bed. Evelyn said it's asleep. But if you keep knocking at the door, I'm going to answer every time. And Jen
I
is
love
like,
it.
"Who are you talking to?"
Well, she was looking at you, B.
She was looking dead at her. I was like,
Dead at her. She meant you. You. What do you mean?
Jen says she don't knock at the door. She lives her life. She lives her life. Her life is lit, and she doesn't bother anybody. Jackie asks, "Does Jen know who is threatening Ev?" I'm like, "You met the lady. What are you talking about?"
Thank you. You just had dinner with the lady. What do you mean?
Yeah, you just brought back the bones, and now Evelyn
Right.
is pissed off at y'all about it. So I mean,
Right.
Ev said,
And Shawnee was right. She was just like, why don't you say something? And I would say something too, because I would be like, I don't care if his family comes at Evelyn, but Jennifer, speak up to your man and just say, stop talking to her. Stop talking about
Can we have
her.
the conversation, Cindy?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I love me some Evelyn,
Love her.
but in this space, do you feel like Jennifer is that something that she would even do? Because remember when this was Jennifer, when what's old girl's name?
Evelyn,
Not Evelyn, the friend that slapped her,
stop too.
slapped Jennifer.
Oh, slap Jennifer. Oh my God, I forgot that lady's name.
Yeah, Naya,
Oh,
Naya.
Naya.
Yes, I
Right.
don't see the difference between what Jennifer and Christian's family is doing versus that.
I feel like once again, like I said earlier, and that was my point of saying it, no man
Hmm.
should be controlling you to the point to where that feels okay to threaten and let your family threaten a woman. That's not okay. Now,
I would,
now, Evelyn, let me just say, Evelyn does not seem afraid, but she's going to clap back. She
right.
doesn't agree with it,
Hmm.
and I feel like they've had a 20 plus friendship, 20 plus year friendship, to where she's just like, stop talking about me. That's it.
Right.
And in reference to Evelyn talking about her man, her man, her man, she is talking about her man to her 20 plus year friend. She's not sitting there going on every interview talking about Christian like the way that they are. If I were Jennifer,
Wait, you said Evelyn's not doing that?
Evelyn's not going on every interview talking about Christian this and Christian that and Christian this and Christian that. She, when she talks about him, she either copies, not copies, but adds them or adds them,
Hmm.
on everything that she says. She doesn't back down from what she's saying, but she makes sure that they know that she's saying it. What I don't like that Jennifer is doing is letting this man threaten women, period. I don't care if his family is extra, extra and saying stuff about, talking about her love life or whatever. It's just not don't talk about her. We're on the show together. We're cast members.
Hmm.
She came to me and voiced her concerns. I told her I didn't care, but
Hmm.
don't threaten her in that way. Period. I don't like it. I don't want him on there doing that to any of the women. Period. It's a show. They're making a
I
show.
think
They're
I
talking about
think
their
I
life.
think my question is more about the auntie than him, because that's what
Okay.
the conversation was about, was the auntie thing. And
Well,
I think
when Jennifer said, I can, F said, well, have her pull up. She said she wanted to pull up. Here I am. Have her
yeah.
pull up, and she said, let me call her. She's 8 minutes away. She was like, well, have her come.
And Shawnee said
But
absolutely not.
and Shawnee said absolutely not. But the whole point was, let her, if she's gonna talk and be threatening, say it to her.
So I don't really agree with a lot of the things that's happening with Jennifer, but I will
Yeah,
say this: I think that Jennifer is happy that she has people in her space
I think
where
so too. I
where
think so
she's
too.
like
I
where
feel
she's
like,
getting like this space where she feels like she's getting bullied by Evelyn.
yeah.
That's going to stand up for her, and
Yes, but
so
then, but that's
that
not,
makes me think
but
about.
that does not make it right. So
Wait,
you
hold on,
have people
hold on,
standing up for you. What
hold on,
about you?
hold on, give me a second. It made me think about that Nia situation where they were going against Jennifer that entire season,
Right,
to the point where Nia smacked her in the face.
right.
And to me, I think that Jennifer holds that into her heart because she's a Virgo. We might not we might not respond to it like now, but in 2013, when Nia crawled, whatever year that was, she crawled across that table, smacked her, and then Evelyn followed behind. I feel like Jennifer lives in that space, and I feel like that's why Jennifer's like, I mean, why would I even have to respond for a grown woman going against a grown woman? Because I worry about Jennifer. And to be honest, I feel like she should finish her sentence thing, because when it was me, you didn't give a damn. And I think
No,
that's
no,
where she
but I
ends
feel like,
does that.
I hear what you're saying, but I also feel like, knowing how passionate Evelyn is about the DV situation,
Hmm.
have your man on mute. It's only because she's being controlled by him that she's okay with this. And I do agree with you. I feel like she, especially because she lost her mom, I know what that feels like. I feel like she thinks it's cute or
Yeah, I'm
endearing.
not saying what she's doing is right. I'm just saying that
Let me finish. I feel like she thinks it's cute or endearing that this man is quote unquote protecting her, but it's coming off creepy. It's coming off aggressive. It's coming off scary. And nobody on these shows, like, we haven't had to have, you know, a whole season where you hear all these outside people threatening somebody like the way that he has done with Evelyn. It
Mhm.
just is not right. And at the very least, Jen doesn't have to,
We're not. No, we're not. We're not
Jen
disagreeing.
doesn't have to lay down and feel like she needs to be bullied by Evelyn, but at
Mhm,
the very least,
mhm.
men should not be involved in their business. That's it.
But
Like we didn't have.
but what everything you said, I agree with. I'm saying to me, I feel like this is where Jennifer is at. I don't think that Jennifer's looking at it as like this man is coming against this woman because it's
Right.
not.
Yeah,
And I
I don't, yeah, but I don't think, even if she doesn't see it that way, then she's a dummy, because these people are only chiming up because her man is telling them to or allowing them to. It's
yeah.
not their
Even when
business.
Shawnee said that, she was like, "You could say something, even though you're not speaking up for nobody else. You could
Thank
say
you.
something."
You
No,
can
and
say something.
I agree with that. But then I also was like, it made me think about that situation. I was like, maybe Jennifer's like, I mean, nobody did that for me when that shit was happening to me. So no, I'm not doing it.
But that's not right, because just last year they were all like, let's mend the fences and we're okay, and let's have these drinks together and we're fine, or whatever whatever season it was. They just mended the fences, and now you're just sitting here letting somebody talk about me like a dog.
I think that when it comes to this whole conversation, um, I think that Evelyn has every right to be concerned about Jennifer.
Right.
I
I
think that
agree with that. I
I
agree
think
with
I
that.
think that at some point for Jennifer though, it gets obsessive. Like it's too much.
I
And
get that
I
too.
feel like the same thing when it came with the chat thing. It was like a vice versa. I think it's like a flip situation to me when I'm watching the show.
Right, right, right.
It's like I feel like Jennifer is like, well, this was good for you when it happened to me. So when it's happening to you now, why should I have to do anything extra because you
But
didn't do
nobody was
it?
bullying her when she was trying to protect her friend.
She was getting bullied. Jennifer was.
She, yes, but by Evelyn directly, not by
No,
Chad's whole
By
family,
Naya. By Naya.
but not by Chad's whole family.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. But
So if that, wait.
I don't
So
think that you
no,
should
no, no. If you, no, 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 wait. So if your man is coming off script and
Cindy,
he,
Cindy, I'm not talking about that part.
okay,
What you're talking about, I agree with. That's
okay,
not the argument part that I'm having with you, or the
okay,
conversation part I'm having with you. What
right,
I'm saying is that in Jennifer's mind, these are two women arguing.
right.
I don't think that Jennifer's looking as her man and Evelyn are fighting.
But like I said, then I
And
think that she's a dummy,
that,
because it is only coming from Christian.
well, I mean, to be honest, I mean, I have family members like if women are coming against me, they're gonna step up on me.
Right, right.
So I don't see it that
But
way.
you're not on television. It's not public.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm just saying though, if this is a real family member, then maybe that's just what it is, though. And I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just throwing out other options in case like this is an actual thing.
Right,
That we're
right.
honest, like, listen, don't come for my nephew. I don't play about that. He's a man. I'm a woman. Talk to me. Because a lot
Yeah,
of
but
times,
then she should say, talk to me.
but
And
I feel
Evelyn
like
has been talking directly to her. She's been talking directly to Jennifer, but yet and still her man is
no.
always inserting himself.
I'm talking about the aunt saying that, not
Oh, the
Evelyn.
aunt. Uh-huh.
Yes. Because that's his family
But then this is what I would do. I don't know what you would do.
member.
I mean, my family's gonna come and protect me
I would
too.
tell her to just step back because I can handle it myself. Like I don't need that.
Exactly. That's what I would say. I would be like, I got it. You don't have to keep approaching her. That's it.
But I also have my parents too, and I have family. So like I don't think Jennifer has that. So she's going to have
I
this.
don't have my parents, but I would not let my man sit there and have him, keep egging his family on, cussing out somebody that they don't even know.
Cindy, I understand you wouldn't do this with your
Right, right, right.
saying for
And so that's my
Jennifer.
problem with
I
Jennifer.
feel
It's
like Jennifer is in a different type of space because she has been on this show for many of years where she hasn't had anybody, and so all of a sudden she has this auntie that's coming like, yeah, what's up? I got your back, girl. So Jennifer's even coming to the show with a different type of energy, and I
she
just feel like
is.
maybe that's why Jennifer's like letting this roll because it's like, yeah, she might not be on Basketball Wives, but she's in my part of my family now, and then you, I mean, you with her, and that's what it is. And is it right? No, but I'm just saying I'm opening up the door to saying maybe this is what it is.
Maybe that's what it is.
That's
it's a
it.
hard
I
it's
wasn't
a
fighting no Christian going against Evelyn conversation.
it's a
It was just
horrible look. It's a horrible look,
it is. It
especially
is definitely.
for black people. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, like even him saying like Evelyn doesn't like black people. Like he's
that was a
just
lot. That was a
doing
lot.
too much. I don't like him. I feel like all the alarms are going off. He just doesn't feel safe, but maybe he makes her feel safe and that's all she cares about. I
Well,
don't
no,
like it though.
she said on one of the episodes when he went to jail, they rallied around her while he was there. And I do agree with what Princess says. She doesn't have Jen's back. She has Christian's back.
She does.
And I think that because I think there's something between her and him and
But
Jennifer.
you mean Jen doesn't have Evelyn's back. She
No,
has absolutely.
she's saying the auntie doesn't have Jen's back. She has the aunt has Christian's back.
Exactly, and that's my point, Princess. You're making my point.
Yeah,
They're only doing this because of Christian
but
and Jennifer. Jennifer,
I agree.
in my humble opinion, Jennifer should have put a stop to it long ago.
But in Jennifer's mind, that's not what she's thinking. She's thinking that she has their back.
But that's not true.
Right, I mean, and
And
not
that's why I said she's a dummy. But whatever, whatever. Let's move
I
on.
mean, we're really agreeing with each other. But I just wanted to throw that out there as just in case people like, was thinking the same thing, or I mean, are thinking anything different. Like to me, I feel like Jennifer is like in a space where like I want someone to protect me, and I
I
probably found
agree,
that,
but this,
and I think that
but again,
I'm in a
this,
statement
but
still.
having healthy protection, and this, I
I
know
don't
the
think she's worried
difference.
about that though, Cindy. I don't think she is. Listen. I'm not.
But at her age, she should. My God, how much older do you have to be to not know what healthy protection is?
Cindy, you know what I'm gonna tell you? Stay
What?
in a child's place.
Shut up! Oh my gosh! You wish that was a thing. Don't let Brandy fool you into thinking that's a thing. Okay, it's not a thing. Let's direct that to Jennifer. Jennifer, stay in a child's place.
No, but I'm agreeing.
No, I get it. I get it. I just don't see it the same
I was
way.
just going on.
It's fine. It's
You was
really
tearing
fine.
me up. I'm like, wait a minute, Cindy, I ain't saying that. But no, I got
Yeah. No. It's fine. It's fine.
all right, let's get to the rest of these.
Okay. The rest of the episode. Well, I think I mean, now we paused at. I remember now. We paused at Jackie and Chantel having their initial. Like, is that how you feel?
Yes. Um, wait a minute. Where's my notes at? But if you keep knocking on the door, you said that. No, we stopped at Evelyn and Jack and
No,
Jennifer.
we left off with Jackie and Chantel.
No, remember I said she said if you keep knocking at the door, that's how we got to the auntie.
Oh, we got to the auntie. That's right.
She's talking to you. Said she knew that. That's what we stopped at because we said she's talking to. Okay, so Jen says she don't knock on no doors. She lives her. Oh, I read that part too. Okay, so Jackie asked, "Does Jen know who's threatening Ev?" I read that part too. Ev says the fake auntie. Jen says his family don't play about him or them, and she doesn't speak for no grown woman. She can have a conversation with her. Ed says she can't. She can come. And Shawnee says, "No, the hell she can't." She ain't say that, but because Jen was getting ready to call her. She says she 8 minutes away. F says call. F says call.
Call her.
Call her. She's a goofy bitch. And then F feels like Jen is encouraged.
No. Ev called Jennifer
Jennifer a
goofy.
goofy bitch. Yes.
Yep.
That's what I was saying. I don't know if I didn't come off right.
Yep.
Ed feels like Jen is encouraging this. Shawnee says you could.
And that's my problem.
Yeah, which we just talked about that.
Yep.
Shawnee says she could say something. Jen says she speaks for herself. If Ed wants to stop this, stop talking about her nephew and her niece. Duh. And I'm like, Jennifer, that wasn't a punchline.
No.
It wasn't. But okay.
It just made her look more stupid, but whatever.
I think you want to be part of the family too bad.
Right.
Chantel and Brittany come back. Shawnee goes back to her corner. She says, because she tried.
Right.
Jackie then thanks Brittany for standing up for Chantel. It's crickets.
Right.
Jackie asked if they
At
are
that
mad.
point, at that point, I could see Brittany, but like ready to explode.
And that's when Jackie finally finished that Tito's.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
She was like,
Yep,
okay, are we mad?
right,
She says, Brittany, you talk a lot, so say it while we here.
right.
Brittany says she hasn't disrespected Jackie, but all the hands in her face, um, it ain't going to be too many more of those. And then we talked about this, right? I didn't think that Jackie would have her
Yeah,
hands in her face.
me neither.
Yeah,
I think, like I said, when Brittany came, when they came back, her and Chantel, I feel I could see Brittany ready to explode. She was already ready.
yeah. I think she was looking for a reason.
Uh-huh. She was just looking for a reason to say
Jackie
something to
could have sneezed. My
Jackie.
mom sneezed like that, and I don't like it.
Right, 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 right. Right.
Jackie says she likes her, and she likes her having Chantel's back. It's not going to be too many more. I know what she was talking about when she said that though. Was that hands in her face?
I think so.
Okay. She said she wasn't putting her hands.
Or her threatening her, like she was basically trying to get Brittany together. Like, stop talking.
Okay, because normally I'm thinking, did she call her a bitch?
Yeah, no, 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 no. Yeah, yeah. No, they were calling each other bitches later after they start
Yeah,
arguing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. She says she wasn't putting her hands in her face in an aggressive way, which I do believe that.
I believe I for once I agree with Jackie.
Yeah, because I mean Jackie kept it cool for the most part.
She did.
But she will grab her around the neck and ragdoll her ass.
And
And I
then
was like,
and then
Jackie,
now we went off. I was like,
now we are
"Oh,
Jackie Chris.
Jackie." Yep.
She's like,
Now we
ah, girl,
ah,
girl,
ah!
don't be that
Exactly.
doll now. Don't.
Don't be the doll. Right.
Everybody is like, oh damn,
Like
Jackie
please,
Christie's
like,
back.
stop. Yep, she's back.
Yeah.
She triggered her. That was it. Yep.
Chantel is in shambles at this point. Jackie tells Chantel to stay out of it. Brittany asks Jackie how it.
No, she told her to stand down.
No, this part she says stay out of it. She told her to
Oh,
stay
say
out
it.
of her.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, but again, then now once again, I was a little bit annoyed with Shani because Brittany was attacking her. So now
The
why
same
don't you
thing she
want
accused her mom of doing, she didn't do.
exactly? And so I was just a little confused. I was just like, wait, wait,
And
wait.
this interaction with Brittany was worse than Brandy.
Yes. I was like, you wanted her to turn up for you, but now that she's turned up because she's now protecting herself,
Yeah.
now you have a problem with it. I was like, what? Yeah.
And this is too late at this point because Jackie Christie didn't had the rest of that Tito's.
Yes.
So and probably some Basara had showed up somewhere. I'm just
It hit
misdirected.
her. It
It
hit
did.
her. We could see it.
Jackie tells Chantel to stay out of it. Brittany asked Jackie how many drinks she had. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, when Jackie hit her with this, Cindy had to turn my TV off.
Really?
She said, I had water, and she asked Brittany how many drinks she had under her job. I said, you know what?
Right.
I'm out.
Right. Right. Right.
I'm out. Because Jackie is on Jackie Christie at this point.
She's gonna be at that point. She was crazy, Jackie.
Yeah,
When
she was.
you could see it just switch like that.
When she mentioned that her job,
Well, I think also because she was questioning her motherhood.
mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when she mentioned that her job, I was like, oh no, Jackie's done.
She
We're
done.
close it down, y'all. Shut down shop. It's done. Let it
Yep.
go.
And she was really, really cool through all of the arguments,
The
except
whole thing.
the whole thing until she got to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what she mentions, I guess we can just talk about it now. When she mentioned about how Chantel and Brittany came back and how Chantel sat in the middle of Brittany and her, that's
Mm-hmm.
when I think Jackie really got triggered
Yeah.
because she was
I
like, "Oh, some
no,
shit."
I don't think so. I feel like she was okay with, she said, I love that you stood up for my daughter, and then Brittany came at her wrong. um
She mentioned
she
this.
she she lost it. Like, she came at her like questioning her motherhood. That was when Jackie lost it. Not because she was just like, she's sitting between me and my daughter. No, no, no.
No, I think when Jackie got onto 10 was because when they came back from the bar, she realized there's a problem because at first Brittany was sitting next to Jackie.
Uh-huh.
And then they came back from that bar. Chantel sent us to Jackie, and Brittany was on the other side. And that's when Jackie knew there was a problem.
I don't think it was because of the seating, but go ahead.
Well, she mentioned it.
I still don't think it was it, but go ahead.
It says, I think Brittany thought about it. Okay. So she said she had, she said, I read that part. Jackie knew she was wrong everybody is preparing themselves for the wrath of Jackie at this point. I said, I think even Brittany thought about if she wanted this smoke or not.
Right.
She asked Jackie why she's bringing up her job. They argue, and Jackie is getting hyped up, and Chantel is going off on Jackie. Ty takes Brittany try to take Brittany out of the room. Chantel gets up to leave and yells at Jackie for turning up on Brittany, but not letting Brandi talk to her like shit. But letting Brittany talk to her like shit. Brittany is screaming about Jackie being a better mother. Jackie jumps over the sofa.
Yeah.
Now Jackie wants to talk to Brittany as she wants to talk to her as Ty is trying to hold her back. Shawnee pulls Jackie to the side and calms her down. Reminds her she just jumped over a damn chair.
Right. Couch.
Yeah, the couch, but she called it a chair. I was like, well, it's not a chair, but whatever. Yeah. Jackie feels like Brittany was trying to find a problem with her, which I feel the same way. Brandi
I feel like that too. Like I said, I feel like her conversation with Shani triggered Brittany, and when she sat down, she was ready. She was already there to explode.
Yeah, and when they pulled to the side and they had the conversation, I'm like, at this point, Chantel should have checked out of Brittany's conversation.
Absolutely.
Because don't bring your mom and your mom.
Thank you. But I feel like they were bonding over the bad mom scenario. Yep, they were trauma bonding, absolutely. And I feel like I feel like she was allowing her to do that because she was probably talking to Jackie the way that she wanted to talk to her mom. But
and I think that if Chantel wasn't in the space that she was in, she probably would have stopped that conversation.
Agreed.
So I'm not holding that towards Chantel. I think that she was just in a really bad space. It was a wrong time for that conversation.
Absolutely. I really wish at that point, like they both would have left and then they can trauma bond off camera.
Yeah. Like, go get your nails done, do that.
Yep.
Shani pulls Jack this. Okay, yeah. Brandi pulls Chantel to the side and says this is her fault, and she apologizes. Chantel says it's so much bigger than Brandi, and I was like, oh, thank God this is finally happening. I knew it was more than Brandi, but she asked Brandi to keep Jackie away from her.
And I'm sorry. Hang on 1 second, honey. Hold on.
Okay. And that's how a proper Muslim should act. It is. But yeah, y'all, I want to go to this part while we're waiting on Cindy. When she said that when Chantel says it's so much bigger than Brandi, it made me sad for Chantel, to be honest, because Chantel looked like a child to me. Like, I almost seemed like the baby in her and what's happening. And then we'll get into what she said after this when Cindy comes back. But something clicked when Jackie started going off on Britney, that made me feel like Chantel's seen this before in her own childhood. And she kept on saying, Mom, are you serious? Are you really doing this? As though, like, I've seen this before. And it made me really, really sad for her because I'm like, damn, like, whatever is happening over there at the house or what was happening before, Jackie has done a number on these kids because Chantel did not look okay, like, at all when she went off, especially after she jumped over that couch. I was like, so you going to fight that little girl? Like, for real? I don't know. Well, also, while we're listening, I hope you guys are liking the video because, I mean, we have had like up to 50 people up here already. So please make sure you guys like the video and share the video too, y'all. I hope y'all watch this episode too. If you have not already done this, rate the episode. What y'all give from a scale from 1 to 10? We did it at the beginning of the video, but on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you rate this episode? I gave it a 10. Cindy gave it a 9. Barb Meets World gave it an 8.5. Oh, you haven't watched it yet? Okay. It was a good episode. To me, emotionally, it took me up and down because it was so much going on. I had no idea what was happening, but I felt like there was so much trauma shit going on that I didn't know how to feel about a lot of stuff that's going on. But once we got to the end of it, it all made sense.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
I had my neighbor saying that he was having a plumbing issue. Anywho, go on.
Okay. So reminds her she should lift over the chair. Brandy pulls up. Okay. She asked Brandy to keep Jackie away from her. It seemed like a child crying for help. I wrote that down.
For
Brandy
sure.
Brandy hugs her. Chantel thinks Jackie has created a picture perfect image. Now after I read this, we're gonna talk about this. Chantel thinks that Jackie created a picture perfect image for them, for the world to see. But people don't realize under the mask is the mother she grew up knowing and at times being very afraid of. She feels like her and her siblings feel like they have to be perfect out of fear of what will happen if they are not.
Right.
Now, Cindy, let me ask you.
Yep.
I'm sure that they feel this way, but did you feel like they had to be perfect?
No.
Did they get a perfect family?
Absolutely not. But I feel like how I took that when she said it was because um Jackie didn't want them to tell the truth about how they really lived.
Right.
And so that's not perfection, but that's also like, look, I have we get married every year, husband.
Exactly.
All that kind of stuff. I really don't feel like it's about perfection. It's just about keeping secrets, which is not a good thing.
It's not, but it's the old black family situation,
Yep.
and a
Where
lot of people
we don't talk about the drama, we don't talk about the trauma, we don't talk about it. Right.
a lot of people can relate with Chantel because a lot of us have been through those type of situations.
Absolutely.
My mom is like, tell me first.
Right.
What happened? All that. I'm just like,
My
girls,
my mom was like that too, but my grandma was not like that. You just we never talked about anything. And then when we talked about everything, but then when we would go over to my grandmother's house, her mom, we just don't talk about it.
but I think that's why our parents were like that because they didn't talk to their parents about stuff
I
because they were
agree.
saying.
Yep, I agree.
I think that Chantel, if she would have shared her story earlier in life, it would have helped her because she would have realized like you're not the only one who's been through this.
Absolutely.
We all have been in that space. So like me and my mom have gotten into it multiple times because she feels like, certain things shouldn't be out. But listen, this is my life.
Absolutely. But then also, I mean, it is part of, a generational situation. And Jackie, it's not a spring chicken. I feel like at some point, you do have to break that cycle. And I feel like Chantel is trying to do that, but it is difficult because if you're not taught to be open that way, it
Hmm.
is kind of hard. I could see that she was afraid of her at some point, which I really
Especially
didn't.
in this moment.
Yeah, which I really didn't like. But yeah,
That was like scary to
yeah,
watch.
yep.
Like she turned into like a little baby in front of our eyes on this episode, and I was like, "What the
Right.
fuck is Jackie doing over there? What's happening?"
Absolutely.
And
And I
she
feel
was
like it's
very
so also I feel like it's also so telling how Chantel always only talks to Doug Jr.
quiet.
and her dad. Like she seems to get the most comfort to protect her from Jackie, basically.
But I was trying to understand. Well, let's get into that. Let's get to the rest of it. There's not a lot left.
Okay.
Then I want to get into that a little bit because there was stuff she was saying that I was like, "No, something is off
It's
about
not right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
this." Yeah. So sorry, this is making her upset. Wait, where am I? Okay, so we get the Jennifer talks to Jackie. Jennifer tells her this is making her upset. She doesn't want this to break up her family. Jen tries to level with her because of their moms have passed. Jackie
Mm-hmm.
can't take it and walks away. Jen wants to listen because Chantel is crying for help. This is when Jen almost called her a baby, Chantel.
Yeah. Right.
And that's why I was saying that. I think that's why, that's why I was thinking about Brandy.
I,
So,
I I don't think that she was gonna call her a baby, but
oh, no,
she's
she
just
like the words were forming out of her mouth. I watched it.
but I feel like she was meaning like your kid is crying out for you. Like
No,
this is an
she,
opportunity for you to.
No, she was saying that, but she was also saying like this is your baby. And so when
Right.
I was earlier when I was talking about Brandy looking at her as a child, I'm saying I think that they all relate to her like that because they grew up knowing
But she didn't say it in a disrespectful way, the way that
her.
Brandy did.
Cindy, you're right. That's
Yeah.
true. I'm
Yeah.
just like visually, like, and because they've been around so long as a
Right.
baby, that's how they look at her. That's what Jennifer was saying that. So that's why I was just bringing up for that. So then we
Right.
get to Brandy and Chantel. Brandy tries to help Chantel understand Jackie loves her, and I think Brandy's really covering up for Jackie at this point. Chantel,
But how did you feel about that comforting? I was cringing. I thought it was very I know
I
that's your
think
girl.
I think it was very genuine. I think that to be honest, I think that we're watching a show versus some real shit that happened at the same time.
Mm,
I don't think the notes that they had for the show included this part.
maybe because I'm so, I'm a Leo. I'm super strong.
Mm.
Just the holding of my face and all of, like, you're not my mom, ma'am. You're only 10 years older than me. Like, don't, I didn't love it.
But
Let me just finish. I was very uncomfortable watching her versus when Evelyn and Shawnee came over, the way that they were comforting her. I
they haven't
felt comfortable with.
they haven't been around her like that. Brandy has. That's my thing. I think that's
Not
where I think
Brandy hasn't. No. Brandy hasn't been around Chantel like that.
see, she's been around her for the entire LA show.
Not like that.
Brandy and according to Brandy and Jackie, she has.
No,
Chantel's been on that show many of years.
not like that. Because Chantel was not on the show. Jackie, yes. If she was holding Jackie's face, yeah, I get it. With Chantel,
I think that that's because it's Jackie's daughter. I just feel like there's an endearment there that comes from there, and it's not a negative thing.
mm,
This is my own opinion. I'm gonna just get this out.
okay.
I think there's an endearment there as her being a kid that grew up that she watched grow up. I don't think that it's
Mm-mm.
disrespectful to be honest. I think it may have came off that way. I don't think it was supposed to be meant that way at all. I just don't.
I don't think it was disrespectful. I felt uncomfortable. I felt it wasn't. I felt that it was Brandy's way of being like, let's get past our stuff. I see you needing something. But
I
it
don't think you
was,
know what to do in a space like that because you're watching
yeah,
and
I wouldn't have done that.
older. And
I would have been much more like an Evelyn and a Shawnee and being like, yeah, we didn't know
but I
because
mean, but
no,
also you're
can I finish? Can I
yeah.
just
I'm
finish
sorry.
the thought? Like,
Yeah.
Evelyn being like, yeah, because we didn't know what to think because she hasn't met your husband, she hasn't really been around your grandkid, and so I get it that it's a difficult like that to me made more sense other than breathe, all up in my grill, holding my head, being like, breathe, just breathe. Like you don't know her enough like that to try to comfort her in that way. But that's just me.
But Evelyn and them are not LA girls from that show either, though. They weren't around
Yeah,
her like
but Evelyn's been around since the beginnings and she's been around Jackie long enough to know she sent money to her other daughter. She knows about her
it's a
kids.
problem because Jackie feel like she don't know her like that. I feel
But
like I just
I'm not talking about how Jackie feel. I'm talking about the kids.
but I just feel like there's a difference between how I think we're saying the same thing, but also I understand Brandy's interaction.
Okay.
I feel like because she's been around her way more than they have ever been.
Okay.
So I mean, I think that the relationship is different. I don't know. I don't. I think in that moment, to be honest, I'm about to call you Shawnee. In that moment, I don't know what I would have done because I just felt like there was a girl crashing out.
You're gonna make it be okay no matter what.
No,
So
no, no, no.
I,
Not even that. The girl who
I
was
feel like
arguing with calling her
I felt like the way that all the other women handled
no,
it
hold on,
was okay.
give me a minute. The girl you were just calling a bitch, who you was arguing with, like you're crying at her saying, "Keep her away from me, Brandy." Like to me, I don't know what I would have done because like I feel like you need help right now. Like, or is she abusing you? Like I don't know what's happening. So I don't. I feel like Brandy just like reacted. I don't know if what she did looked right, was right, is right, shit. I don't know any of that stuff. I think it was like an impulse.
I feel like you're gonna be okay with whatever she did, but whatever. It's fine.
If anybody would have done that, I would have been okay with it because I don't think that anybody knows how to
But
react.
nobody else did that, but they were all supportive of her.
Well, they weren't there when it first. Like I think Brandi was the first person that was over there before Shawnee and Evelyn got there.
Well, I
They came later.
okay.
Shawnee was. I mean, Shawnee, Chantel was already a little calmed down because Brandi was over there. But when she was begging Brandi to keep her mom away from her, I'm like, what's happening?
Okay.
But let's skip some of this stuff. What I wanted to get into is this. So the conversation that Shawnee was having with Chantel
Mm-hmm.
about the elephant in the room. You remember this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How did you feel about that?
Ooh. I yeah. Again, I was very uncomfortable. I don't understand, but again, I don't know their real relationship like that. The
Mhm,
way that, like I said, Shawnee and Evelyn was talking about, there is an elephant in the room that you guys are on the show together, but she has not met your spouse.
mhm.
She really has
Just
not been she has really not been involved with the grandbabies, like, like Ev talks about her grandson all the time, like it shows pictures of him and all of that.
Shawnee
um
does too.
and
Shit, Brandy
Shawnee,
does. Malaysia does.
they
We
all
see,
do.
we all seen them, but you never see Jackie with her kids
You
like
never see that, and so there must be a really good reason why Shani has those boundaries.
that. Hmm.
But it does make me concerned because that is not like there's no way in the world, if my mom was still around, would I not introduce her to the man, the man that I married. Like it just wouldn't
And your grandkids.
and the grandkids, like it just wouldn't well, no, Jackie does see she does know her
Now she does.
grandkids,
Yeah, now
but
she does.
now she does. So like what is she protecting her from? And I think, like I said, something went on in that household that she made her fearful of. So that's a concern.
When she said that she was afraid of her mom, I was
Yeah.
like, what the
Like
fuck is Jackie
what
doing?
happened here? Yeah. Yeah,
I
like
need
what happened here?
take us into take us on a journey. Like I want to understand
Right. And then
her
we know too from scenes, it gets even more explosive, right?
yeah. And then also we're talking about I mean Dougie and her, but what about the other one that
The
Evelyn gave
sis
money for?
Yeah, the only time that we ever really heard about that sister was when first Laura talked to Shani directly about her,
Hmm.
and how Shani was saying that her mom didn't treat her well, like because she wasn't like Doug's kid, like she wasn't the chosen one, she was the dark skinned one. And then and so then of course Laura had to go back and apologize for talking to her child about her other child.
Can can I
But
ask you?
then the second time was when Evelyn gave money to the daughter.
Hmm. Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Did it seem weird to you that Shawnee Chantel?
Shani.
Yes, I'm gonna say
Mm-hmm.
Chantel so I can get it right.
Yep.
Kept saying my biological father.
Yeah. Well, when she, it felt like she was just like, she was like, how are you addressing him as my husband and he's my biological father? Like, meaning that her importance to him isn't as important as being his wife. It was very strange, right?
It was strange to me because there's these rumors going around about Doug not being her dad,
She looks just like him, and so does Dougie,
and I'm not even I think Dougie looks exactly like Doug.
and so does Shani.
I'm not. I don't listen. Listen. I don't know, but
Okay.
the fact that I like, even my mom said, go talk to my husband. I'm like my biological dad. I would never say that.
Right. Well, I think she was angry and she's just like, how are you going to try to make it seem like me calling my actual dad less important than you talking about your husband? And
I feel like
I
you
understood
know,
what she.
like, damn, my biological dad. Like we want to run up a conversation. I don't know. Maybe I'm just digging deep. I don't know.
Okay,
It just
okay.
seemed very weird that she kept saying biological dad.
Well, she didn't keep, she said it once, but
No,
she
she said
said
it way more than one time.
She said it once, but she kept saying, "My dad. I'm going to call." She said, "I just want to call my dad and go home."
She said it way more than one time.
Go watch it back, honey. She literally said when it was when Jackie was leaving, and she goes, "You mean my biological dad? You what?
Let me go on this website right now. She said this
Go,
one
go, go, go." I know she said it the one time, which
time.
I'm just like, well, what are you gonna do? Like, and then she was like, "Are you dumb?" But again, Jackie had walked away by that point that we saw.
Hold on. Do you hear it?
Yep.
There's two.
Okay, so twice.
That's she said it 3 times. She kept saying my biological father. I'm like, why? Why does she keep saying that?
But she also kept saying my dad and my father
No,
before that.
she did, but I've never in
You
my 41 years of life had to remind my mom this is my biological father.
right,
I'm
right,
sorry.
right. Well,
I
my dad died when I was 4, so no. But needless to say, are you thinking that that's not her dad?
I'm not thinking that, but I'm just wondering, like, what is the? I don't know, Cindy.
What's the
I don't know.
motive? You
Why would you like? Why would you say my biological dad?
Well, she kept saying dad in every other way.
Said my
Like,
father, my dad, my biological father, biological father, daddy, whatever it was. But
right.
biological to me, it just seems very specific to me.
Huh. I mean, who knows? I mean,
What we talking about, Doug, as like I don't know.
Jackie is crazy, but she looks like him
I think Dougie looks just like him.
because he's a boy,
I don't
but for a girl, she looks just like her dad.
think.
No?
I don't. I don't really see the resemblance in him a lot at all. She's light
Really?
skin. That's about it.
No, she looks like him too.
I never. I mean. I don't. I mean. I'm. Listen. I'm not trying to throw nothing out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. It was really
Right.
weird. She kept saying biological father.
Yeah. I just felt like it was so bizarre that once again, that's all you have to say to Jackie is something about Doug.
She was like,
And
call my dad. Oh, she about to call my husband.
right, right, right. So
You
then the
better.
crazy,
You know what? She's like, wait till December go. I'm gonna whip your ass in the parking lot. I'm like, that's what
right.
it seemed like.
That's what it seemed like for sure. Which is why, once again, she said that she seemed afraid of her. So
But
who
at
knows?
32, like your mom will whoop you. Like, why? I don't understand the fear.
Maybe what Jackie did was, you know, use Doug as a way to be like, get it together because he was in the NBA, because he was the one with the real name. You know what I mean? I
Oh,
don't
that
know.
so that was the other thing. She kept saying, "Don't let me call him to air you out."
Right.
Why would her husband air her out?
Because I feel like she's done some crazy stuff in behind closed doors.
But Doug would air her out on the show.
For messing with his kid, yeah.
Air her out how though?
Telling stuff that she probably doesn't want the public to know. I mean, a lot happens in marriages behind closed doors, honey.
Cindy, I don't know nothing about this. I don't know nothing about this.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I
Yes,
could
you do.
never see my mom saying or my dad trying to air his
Yes,
out. I'm like, oh,
but you have had a marriage that has had some aired out stuff too, right?
not to the point where I can say, don't make me call my mom, but let me call my. I ain't never had that. Listen, they
Uh,
what you talking about?
I feel like they have a whole different dynamic in their uh family,
Clearly, because I
right?
was like, well, I want her to call him because
Me too.
what
I
is he
really
gonna
did
say?
too. I was like, please
I
call
want to
Doug. Please
know.
call Doug. I'd be like, please call your dad so we could hear
I'm
hear.
like, you know what, Chantel? Send me his number. I'll call him for you.
Thank you.
What's that?
Thank
What's
you.
he gonna say?
Because we all want to know at this point.
All wants to know.
Right. Right.
Because we
Right. Right.
know, even I think Tammy has said it to her, like, don't let make me call Doug.
They all say it to her when she gets too crazy. They
Yeah.
all say, Let's call Doug," or "Don't let me call Doug," and then she gets it together.
Doug like putting a smack down at home. Like, what's happening?
I don't think so. I feel like she's so delulu about his greatness
Hmm.
that she doesn't want to disappoint him. Do you know what I mean?
But
But
she's
she does. But she does every season.
yeah.
I know. I was gonna say, but she does every season. But yeah,
So
yeah, for
I'm
sure.
sure Doug doesn't turn on basketball. I'm like, yeah, baby, I love that episode. I
No, and
don't
then
think
when
he,
he,
you know what I'm
then
saying?
when she brings him on a little bit more, he's like, you could tell he's ready to not be there. You know, like
Yeah.
Doug is the kind of man that I don't mind seeing on the show because he's not trying to be on the show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed
He
to
comes from where
Christian,
like they bring like a new wife come on, they have a husband that's in the game. Oh,
right?
can I help you coach or whatever. Like he do that,
Right.
but then he'd be like, you'll never see him again.
You'll never see him again, or you won't see him for years, and then all of a sudden they're getting married again, and then you'll see him for that little episode. You know, like
That's that marriage again.
we don't need to see. They've aired it enough. And if they still keep doing it, great. But we, as viewers, we definitely don't need to see it
Princess, get
anymore.
out of this chat.
What'd she say?
Ain't nothing like being in penis punishment.
Oh, well, that's true. Unless you're Thai. Hi, Thai. Hey, Thai. I like her. I do. But I don't know. I feel like she makes it seem like he walks on water. Like
You're like, I'm walking
yeah,
over your ass because
right.
get it
And
together.
yeah, I don't think she wants to disappoint him and deal with him directly after the
I just
disappointment.
wanted to let her call him so we can hear what he's going to say.
Yes.
What happens when you call Doug?
Right. What happened? We know we need to know what happens when you called your dad.
Yeah.
It was already they already, like 2 episodes prior, she was on FaceTime with Dougie. I feel like they have that same we need to protect her vibe that her dad gives.
Mm-hmm. Because you remember when he got his haircut, she hated it. He was like, "No, I'm getting it cut off though." And
Right.
dad.
Well, also I feel like they don't listen to her like that. But
But they're
again,
afraid of her though.
but then again, now I was going to say she seems afraid. Maybe she prioritizes the boys. I don't know.
Mm.
Over her daughters. It's a weird thing that women do for whatever reason. I've never understood that where they don't prioritize their daughters, they prioritize the men, the males in their life
I
over
think it's like
their
the mama's boy thing.
right. Or I don't know because it's not just her son, it's also Doug. Like I feel like she prioritizes him over her kids, number one, but definitely we saw I think Dougie before we even saw Chantel, to be honest,
We did. We did.
right? I
Mm-hmm.
feel like she just prioritizes the men, the male.
But Chantel's been on the show though.
Yes, but I think it's only because Dougie didn't want she said he didn't want to be on the show.
Yeah, I can tell why.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't. I don't think he wants to be affiliated with the directly affiliated with the crazy part, which is why I'm actually still super surprised that Chantel wanted to be on Basketball Wives because it's always seemed like that's mom's thing and she acts crazy on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean
I would,
that's the vibe that I always got. But
I would think that they're going to transition Jackie out and bring Chantel on.
I would love to see that actually. I like Shani on the show. I really don't mind any of the girls except for Britney.
Well, you now said you were fighting me about this before.
What?
about me saying that.
I know, but now that I've gotten to see her in a few episodes, I
Mhm.
don't mind. I don't mind it. I mean, I think this is
I
when we
like her
first.
on the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think we. This is when we first found out about casting, but we hadn't seen her on the show yet. So I didn't. Now I don't mind her. I actually like her because she gets Jackie together pretty much. More that
Hood
more
likes Jackie's daughter as well.
who.
Darren Hood said he likes Jackie's daughter as well.
Yes, I like her. She seems real. I mean, to have a crazy mom, she seems real grounded
Yeah.
and seems together, right?
I think she
Or
has
is
a
it just
great
me?
too.
And she's an actual current basketball wife,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't mind her. I now,
I think that she does a great job. As I wish, I don't want her to be. I want Brittany to go.
yeah,
I think
same.
that she'll be a better basketball wife cast member without Brittany.
I agree. I feel like Britney does what she did with the last season that she was on, which
Yep.
is, just a negative kind of like it's the new girls against the OG. Like you could tell that Chantel is not about that. She's like, my mom is an OG, but who cares? Let's all just say what we're gonna say, and you know, let's move it right along. I like Shanny.
Chantel doesn't give a damn about none of this.
None of it.
The fact that Chantel comes onto the show wants to be friends with Evelyn
Yep.
after the whole thing, all the stuff that's happened with her mom and her, to me
Mm-hmm.
speaks like she wants to be her own individual person.
I agree. I agree. And I really
And I'll
like that.
even say when it comes to that conversation she was saying about Brady, like you don't respect me as uh, a woman on the show or this. It was also said like, bitch, no, I'm here. You're gonna
Yep.
respect me at some point because I'm on the show now,
I'm on the show.
and
Mm-hmm.
like you gotta give me that. And I think that I love that energy coming in because it's
Me
also
too.
like I'm gonna be back next season probably too. So get used to me being here.
Get used to it. Yeah. And you're gonna respect me. you know.
Yeah,
Um and again, like I just said, she's also a basketball wife. No, they aren't,
yeah.
other than her mama
Well, and Brandy, but you know,
and yeah, and Brandi. I was gonna say I don't count Jason in anything, but
they're
okay.
still married. So
They're still married. They're still married. Yes, yes, yes. But
Jennifer's a scammer's wife, so
yeah. And just a sidebar before we jump off of here. Did you see any of the BT Awards pre-show stuff? And the girls were there.
I seen clips of it. Yeah, I
Did
seen
you
that
see?
Brandy and Ty was there together.
That's what I was about to say. Did you see how close Brandy and Ty
Hey,
were?
you gonna live your little lesbianism out, girl.
I
That's the right way to do it.
I was like, they look awfully I mean, we also had Denise there. Nobody thought about her. We
Denise
had
was there.
yeah, Denise was there.
Let me
They
even
they I meant to send this to you. They did like Q&A about like can you name this and can you name that, whatever. But I did not see Ming, but I did see
Ty.
right. I was like, what, they
Because
seem.
Ming was in the comments.
Was she? Oh my gosh.
Oh, so
What was she saying?
they went on a date to the BET Awards.
She said y'all went on a date on the BET Awards?
Underneath Brandy and Ty's picture, she said, "Oh, you went on a date to the BET Awards." I think that's
Ooh.
cute for Brandy though.
I love it for her. I say she has been so tied into such a toxic relationship. I know you're saying that you can relate to her. I just say cut your losses and move on. But I feel like she's been
When we
such
get off
a.
this, I gotta update you too. But go ahead.
Okay, because I'm like, I just feel like she's been tied to that Negro for such a long time. I say live your life and have your fun. She's
Mhm.
still young enough.
You talking about Brandy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I just want her to be
We
free
40,
and
well, she's 42. I'll be 42 in September. We 42.
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
It's still young. That's so
We've
young.
been
That's when
married.
you
We gonna get divorced. I mean, she might get a divorce. I
right.
got one. So I mean, we're still, life is still happening.
Life is still happening and that as it should be, and that's why I'm just saying, like she said, like early 40s was like my favorite time, really, really was.
Really?
Yes.
You know what,
You
Cindy?
figured it, you figured it all out. You know what you want, you know what you need. It's
That's
no
so
no
interesting saying this.
yes, it's no playing games anymore, but unless you want to, like, like it's such a, you still have energy enough. You
You
know
see,
what I mean?
see all this new grass.
I love it. You're handsome all the time. You're handsome all the time. But I'm just saying, like, that's when you start just you got it now. You got it. you
I
know.
so believe that, Cindy.
And I feel like you have
Like,
that energy you have the energy to still have that a little bit of 20s wild fun, but
mhm.
but you're still mature enough to know, okay, this is crazy, I'm not doing the crazy, you know what
can,
I mean?
can you tell I'm like a little bit more happier now?
Absolutely. I mean, and also I think it's just you got a change of pace, a change of scenery.
Mhm.
It's all of those things. You just you got it. When you hit 40, like you got it. It
It's
was
like I've
such
been through a lot of shit, but like
yes.
right now I feel like I'm like on coasting mode. Like I'm where I want to be.
Yes.
I'm experiencing life right now. Like
Exactly.
everything's starting to add up the way it's supposed to add
The
up.
way it's like I said, you got it. You all of a sudden it starts to all fall into place. So like it just goes click and you got it. You know what
Look,
I mean?
let me tell you something, Princess in the chat, because I was over in Chicago the other day, by the way,
Ah!
and I was trying to see her. I'll be down to see you next week. See me where? Because you know I live in a lot of places now.
Well, also happy birthday, princess. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, boo!
Yes, it's Gemini season up in here.
Gemini season.
Yes, yes. You just get it. I don't know, just you're happy. Like it's just you're happier. It was such a wonderful time frame. Like you think, your 20s because you're so young. And look, 20s are great because you're young. You have
40 is my 20.
right, you have so much energy, you heal, you don't have all the ailments, and you're young, you're living,
Yeah.
then 30s you kind of learn the lessons and start to slow down just a little. But then when you get to that like 40 to 45 stage, it all seems to click together. That's all I'm saying.
You be seeing my girl Brandi slowing down because she just turned 42 too.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I love this whole. I look, we're just speculating. We don't know anything if anything is happening with Ty, but I just love this for her that she started to figure out like I'm not happy here. Like,
Yeah.
like she started when she hit 40, if she's about to turn 42 at 40, she was just it clicked. She was like, I'm not happy.
Hmm.
I need to pursue my stuff. We need to step.
It's like something that just happens at 40.
It
It's like,
just happens.
you
Yeah.
know what? I need to. And the craziest thing is, y'all, thank you for watching Basketball Watch Review. We're going to life situations right now.
Right.
The thing is so I think that last year I realized that my kids were going to be leaving me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My kids are my students because some of
Mm-hmm.
you don't know. I don't have a bunch of kids, y'all. But I was like, what am I gonna do? Because I don't want another group of kids.
Right.
It just so happened to be ironic that when I got my new job, we graduated on the same day, Cindy.
Right.
And I
Wow.
wanted to go back when I got done graduating to say we graduated together, and
That's right.
they watched me graduate at school.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was like a
Full
circle.
circle. It's like a full circle.
Yeah, moment
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, I really don't want to go back into this because like it was hard to get to know these kids of like just the different struggles they had from second to third
Yeah.
grade. I don't know if I can add that in me again.
Right.
I also made my schedule to the point where I can substitute with them in fifth, sixth, seventh grade.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna be in and out of the schools too, but this year has been the best year of my life because I chose
Absolutely.
me,
Absolutely.
and
And
I
and I and I think
I want to give you and Busy a lot of props for that because a lot of things that
oh
you guys said to me before we did reviews was a lot for me because I was like, no, I was fighting like, no, 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 no.
yeah, and not even reviews, just real talk.
No,
Like,
I'm saying before we even started the review, we had conversation before.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, no, y'all, that's not what it is. This is what it is. No, 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 I'm fighting. And I was
Right.
thinking about that stuff afterwards, like, no, they might be really right.
Yeah.
Um, I think when Trump got into office, and I realized, you know, this could be gone in a minute.
Yep.
And I heard that like the things you guys were saying, like kind of played back to my mind. I'm like, I didn't look at something else that I'm gonna be happy doing.
Just happy doing.
Yeah.
And again, you don't have to stay anywhere forever. You're not obligated, like I said, in private conversation, you're not obligated to these kids. And look, we love the kids, but
Right.
if it's draining in any shape or form, it's still just a job. Like, you have to live life. You can't be so tired that you can't do other things in your life that
Hmm.
you enjoy doing, right?
It wasn't until y'all pointed that out to me though that I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like stressing, like literally, like a lot of these grades came from that because
Right.
I've been like so stressed out about a
Right.
lot of stuff and not even taking care of myself. And
And I
though,
could hear it. I mean, you not being able to rest or eat, and
yeah,
you spending more like you work all day and then spend more hours doing personal, like, stuff that didn't even have to do with your actual life. Like, it's important to find things that, you know, you can't cancel out your rest of your life just to focus on one thing. Like, that's not living.
and I'll tell you, when I started taking this journey, it happened so fast.
Yeah.
I literally applied one day, they responded back the next day. I did an assessment, and then the day after that, they wanted to interview me online. I
Yep.
did that. They invited me to an interview to fly out to Dallas. After that, they offered me a job, and then I've been gone. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I
and
owe
and and look
like I
and
thank
look
God so much for
look
like
at that,
me.
and hold that, forever. Like I said, it starts to click in
Yeah.
when things are meant. You can't hold on to the negative stuff. When things are meant to be,
Hmm.
you have to take advantage and make the change. Like,
Yeah.
we can't live for other people, right? Like, we can for our kids and stuff like that, but still, as a parent, as a grown up, as an individual, a partner, in a
Hmm.
in a marriage, you still are you. You're still an individual. And I feel like, if we circle it back to the show, I feel like Brandy started to feel like, I'm still here. I'm still me. Like, she doesn't have to stay in any situation, right? She doesn't have to stay in any situation. So I feel like I'm so glad that you did hear those words, because I was like, yeah,
Because
this
I
is
was
not,
fighting y'all for real.
yes. And I'm like, this is not healthy. This is not good,
I was like, no, it's cool. Let me do it. But no,
right?
it was like I got home at nighttime. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I should listen to this a little bit. Let me just explore some things.
Right.
And then it magically, like, shit started happening at work, and it was like taking me down. I was like, I fail at leaving jobs a lot,
Right.
and I don't want to repeat that cycle again because I don't want to have to do it again because it's a
Absolutely.
cycle of things. And so once I realized like I'm not happy,
Mm-hmm.
and I just, like I said, I applied one day and immediately the responses happened. Even during my training, I failed two tests. I had one test left, Cindy.
Mm-hmm.
I could have came back home and be unemployed. But I was like, you know what? Let me just go to my shit real quick because I really have to jump onto this. Like,
Absolutely.
I was doubting myself. Like, is this really going to be happening? Is this too good to be true?
Right.
And I was doubting myself. And thank God they put people around me in my training that was like, like, no, we're not filling another
Like,
test.
we got it. Yeah, we got
Yeah.
it.
And
Mm-hmm.
like, I think even my first group of girls I worked with, when I for my first time I did this, um, I met this. It's like the same group of girls. So like, they were like on my ass, like, no, we're gonna study until you fall asleep. We're gonna do this
Right.
thing, and like, luckily, like I had that friend group when it comes to these people, and I'm in a space right now in life, like I'm just loving life. I'm living life.
I
I'm
love
like,
it.
I have an opportunity to do things that people would never be able to do.
Absolutely. But that's how it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, and then, what? You might hit, you know, the next decade and feel like, okay, now I want to focus more on this. You know,
Oh,
you
but
might be happy doing this forever, but you never know. I'm just saying, like, you have to do things that give you the most joy.
but you know what? I've even made a plan for that.
Okay, good.
So like, even that's interesting. Like, I've never walked into like saying, I'm telling you, like, life is really good right now.
I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, that's how it should be. I want that for everyone. You know, like you really just have to take a. Sometimes you just need to take a moment, like you said, let some stuff sink in, and you can pivot. You know.
It's good to have good friends around you who know you,
Yes.
actually value who you are as an
And
individual.
care about your well-being.
Yep.
You know. Yep.
I would say that about you and Busy, like you guys really gave me the fourth degree or the fifth degree, and I was like, why do you keep saying this to me? But no, and then I had to listen to it. Like I had to think about it, and I'm
Right.
so glad that you guys had those conversations with me because I was really in a bad space, and I had to get
Yes.
out of that. So
Absolutely. You know. I mean, it just who you deserve to be happy, you know, in every aspect of your life. And you know, and we, especially with work, we work so much
yeah,
um that you deserve to be happy about getting up to do it. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, that's true.
Mhm. So anyway,
Yes. I'm going to hit you up because I think I want to do some other stuff because I've been seeing Chantel responding to stuff on social media.
oh wow, okay.
So I'm
Recently?
like as we've been doing this live before the live started,
Wow.
it's a lot going on. So we might
Okay.
do another live tomorrow.
Okay. I'm here. I'll be around.
I want to do another one tomorrow because I want to talk about it. So
I'm available. So
okay.
I'm
And
happy to do it.
I'm off for the next 3 days. So
Okay, good. All right. So, do you want me to hop down and then you
yeah,
can
stay,
close yourself?
but don't drop off, but don't leave. I want to talk to you.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Bye, guys. Mwah. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry it's so long
I know.
and late and late. We started a little late today.
All right, y'all. So make sure you guys, y'all, thank y'all so much for sticking with me, Sandy, during this. I think a lot of it was we didn't review the last episode, so we had to catch up on everything else. But make sure you guys tune in next week. We're going to be reviewing the rest of the season. Then we have like 2 episodes left for Basketball Wives. I do have something coming. I got to find out when the date is going to be, but I do have something coming that's going to be special from Basketball Wives. So stay tuned to that. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, sharing, turning your notifications on all after you subscribe to the channel because y'all, we lit over here. Welcome to the SoDeb Nation, okay? And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.
Did it, I 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 did it, you did it, I did it.